And welcome in, everyone.
Welcome.
It is a milestone night for the Catfish on Ice podcast. This is episode 100. I already see Rich over there shaking his head. He can't believe it. We have made it to 100 episodes. How are you doing tonight, man? We're about to see the Preds and the Oilers drop the puck here in just a couple minutes. So we'll be watching this game live for episode 100. But this is a milestone episode, and tonight it is all about our listeners, the relationships we've made with some of our listeners that we talk to daily, who know their hockey. They're great fans. They're awesome friends. They're just awesome people to talk to every day. And this is what it's all about when you connect with fellow fans of a team. And so tonight, episode 100 of Catfish on Ice is all about showing appreciation to those listeners and to all of our listeners. But we've got some listeners joining us tonight who will be directing the episode. They will be building the episode for us. Whatever they want to talk about, they can talk about, as long as it's about the Preds and as long as it's about hockey. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We can't wait to do it. We got them lined up. They will be joining us throughout episode 100 of Catfish on Ice, presented by Draftkings and part of the Hockey Podcast Network. This is your host, Chad Minton, with Rich Howe. And we will also, of course, be finishing out our midseason player grades tonight with our defensemen and with our two goaltenders, UC Saros and David Riddick. We'll do our battle for the Central Power rankings throughout the episode. We'll kind of list out our rankings throughout the episode. We'll do some NHL Quick Hitters. And, of course, we will react to the Preds versus the Oilers as the Preds try to get a little bit of revenge tonight. Last time they played the Oilers back in November, it was a pretty ugly game. The Oilers kind of dominated them a little bit. It was a 5-2 loss to the Oilers. But the Oilers have really been struggling since then. So we'll see what happens.
Here's one of our friends right now. Mike Twitter, 100 episodes. What's up, man?
Mike Twitter will be joining us, I want to say at 10 o'clock Central Time. So he's one of the last ones to be joining. So Mike Twitter, you can take that as we saved the best for last.
Yep.
We've got Clint Landers on here. Congrats, guys. 100 episodes is a big accomplishment. We appreciate you, Clint.
Very much so. Thank you.
Listeners like you are why we are at 100 episodes. And so that's why we are calling this the Listener Appreciation Episode.
Yep.
That's what it's all about here.
There's our friend Lindsay is on her laptop.
With the name McKinnon. I love that it's McKinnon because I think like Nathan McKinnon. Yeah. It's like the perfect last name for hockey.
Yep.
Lindsay will be joining us. Lindsay will be joining us too.
It's McKinnon on the laptop and just Lindsay on the iPad. We got it down.
Love it.
Got it down.
So we've got so much to get into, as we usually do here on Catfish on Ice, and we wouldn't want it any other way. So we'll be focusing on this Preds-Oilers game throughout the episode. But, Rich, how about we go ahead and wrap up our player midseason grades? Let's go ahead and put a stamp on that, and we're going to do it with the defensemen and with the two goaltenders tonight. That's going to close out our player midseason grades. Who's a better defenseman to start off with than Roman Josi, of course? Let's start off with his grade. I think that's probably the easiest grade that we're going to give out of the entire team. I'll go ahead and give you my grade I gave him, and it was A+. Because A+. Because if it was anything lower, then I feel like it'd be blasphemy at this point. Because, Rich, you say this all the time, and I think you're absolutely correct when you say this. He is one of the most important players to his team in the entire league.
Oh, yeah.
When Roman Josi is not on the Preds, this team suddenly becomes a very not so pretty team. And that's nothing against the rest of the players on that team. That's more of just how important, how great and dynamic of a player that Roman Josi is. So he's completely living up to that hype this season. I think we kind of mentioned a couple times that last season, to his standards, maybe wasn't as good of a season
But
to
still
his
good.
standards. To his standards.
Yeah.
But this season, he's just saying, you know what, screw it. I'm going to show everybody that I'm one of the best defensemen in the league. And he's on pace to possibly set the new single season franchise record for points in a season. He's right there on the pace.
Yep.
We shared this on the podcast Twitter feed. The Preds have not had a 70-point plus score, which really doesn't sound like that many points, but 70 points since 2007-2008 season when JP Dumont and Jason Arnott broke 70 points. The all-time single season franchise record is Paul Kariya. So
right.
with like 84 points or 86, it's somewhere around there. So Roman Josi is right on that pace to come really close to just maybe breaking that record. He's going to have a really strong second half of the season, but
I think
A+, easy.
Yep.
Thank you, Justin.
Justin says, congrats on the achievement, sticking with it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Justin is another listener who's going to be joining us tonight. So all of our listeners who are going to be joining tonight, they're getting in on the chat.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
All right. Yeah. So A+, obviously, elite is a word to use when describing Roman Josi. I just wrote down some stats. Leads the team in points. He's tied for first in assists, third in goals. Leads the team in average time on ice with 25 minutes. He's on pace for his best season ever, like you said. And if he keeps this up and he doesn't win the Norris, something's wrong. Something's fixed somewhere. The fix is in. So
I don't know. I mean, these are just fans voting, but Jay Fresh is he's been on the podcast before as a guest.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He puts out all the really good analytical stuff. He puts out just awesome player cards. One of the best follows out there if you're a hockey fan. But he's sharing every fan's vote when it comes to the award races right now. And Roman Josi, if I'm not mistaken, came in 5th place among fans, people who were following Jay Fresh. Roman Josi came in 5th in the voting. UC Saros also came in 5th, but so it's one of those things. But
they just don't know.
They just don't know, right?
They just don't know. I mean, that's what it is.
A+ all the way across the board for Roman Josi. The fact that he has a chance to set career highs in what has already been an outstanding season or career for him, and he's still going to possibly set new career highs, is just so he's an A+, easy. Let's go to his line mate, his regular line mate, someone who has really been elevated to this role at a very young age, and that's Alexander Carrier.
Yep. He's like Roman Josi light, I guess would be a good way to put it.
You want to talk about having the pressure really put on you?
Oh, yeah.
Right out of the gate.
Yeah.
I mean, Alexander Carrier, he got a lot of looks in Milwaukee. He had to really work his way up to get to the NHL level. And ever since he's come up to the NHL level, I mean, he definitely hasn't been a bust. He's definitely making solid impacts for the Preds in a very big role on the team. I gave Alexander Carrier a B+. I didn't put him in A territory because his scoring still has to get there a little bit. He's not if he's going to be a top pairing defenseman, his scoring production has to get up a little bit.
Yeah.
But here's why he gets a B+ from me. Here's the biggest reason that I am so impressed by Alexander Carrier. His penalty kill contribution cannot be overlooked.
Absolutely.
I cannot tell you how many times I've seen Alexander Carrier make a critical block shot on a penalty kill. Mm-hmm. He gets in the shot lanes. He takes critical block shots. Who saw that coming?
Right. Agreed.
Who saw that coming?
That is crazy.
I give him a B+. 61 blocks is second on the team behind only Roman Josi.
Yeah. I gave him I went ahead and gave him an A.
So I'm the tough grader tonight. Apparently,
you're the tough
Rich.
grader right now. It's like you said, he's Roman Yossi's line mate. He stepped up his game. He's made a permanent place for himself on this team. He's top 4 for time on ice, so that's very important for him. And he like I said, he plays similar to Yossi. He still does make a few mistakes, but he's, this is his first full year in the league, so mistakes are going to happen, and he's going to learn from them. So,
yep, I think he has definitely lived up to the pressure that it's been put on him to play at that top level with a Roman Yossi. I mean, that is a lot to ask for, even from a young player like him. So B+ for me. Rich gives him an A. Good grades for Alex Carrier. Let's move along with Matthias Ekholm.
Matthias Ekholm.
Give me your grade, Rich.
I gave him a B.
You've gotten a lot more kind with your grades as we've gone along with these.
You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. I did get a little bit nicer with it, but he struggled a little bit, and we know that. But he's still a top defenseman in the league. He's starting to come around, which is good. He's on pace to not maybe have his best season, but he's still with the Predators, one of their top defensemen. So he plays well, and things are getting better. Things are getting better for him.
He's shown improvement as the season's gone on. By the way, we are watching the Preds and the Oilers. The puck has just dropped. We're less than a minute into regulation. Saros is out there already having to be sharp, as we would expect against the Oilers.
Absolutely.
I know the Oilers are struggling right now, but you know what? Do not even think for a second that this team is not capable of running the Predators out of the building if the Predators aren't on their game. I'm just telling you right now. They have to be ready to play like it's a playoff game. And what do you know? The Preds draw a penalty, and they are on the power play less than a minute into the game. So we will stay focused on this game. We will let you know what's going on. We're watching it with you as we go through episode 100 of Catfish on Ice. All right, so Rich, you gave Ekholm a B.
Yep.
I can't do that, man. I can't do that. I gave Matthias Ekholm a C+.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's close.
And I would have given him like a C-, or he was even in D territory like a couple weeks ago, but he's been playing a lot better lately. You expect a veteran like Ekholm to figure it out, to eventually correct the mistakes, and he was not playing well to open this season at all. He was not playing well at all.
Especially after getting that shiny new contract.
Yes, but he's been getting better. He has been rounding out to form a little bit, but I still got to say his veteran presence is nice. It's nice to have him in that defensive core to be a leader. No one's ever going to question his leadership, but here's my thing. He's on pace to possibly have his worst point production since his first few seasons in the league. That's one thing. He's also got his worst Corsi percentage of his career right now. His possession metrics are horrendous. Like, for whatever reason, he has not been very impactful when it comes to making plays and getting possession and setting things up for his line mates. He's just not been there. He's been showing some improvement lately. Some things have been looking a lot better. He does other things out there, of course, but it hasn't been that great of a season for Matthias Ekholm by his standards at all. So I gave him a C+.
Yep. I mean, that's close to a B. It might as well be
we're close. We're close. But, hey, the difference between a B and a C was pretty big in my household, Rich. I don't know about you. If I could pull that B- and just say I had a B, that was a big deal in my household when I was growing up. But that's just me.
You got a good point.
All right. We're getting ready to bring our first listener on in just a few minutes, and that is Landry. which has the two beautiful German Shepherds. I'm sure a lot of our listeners know who we're talking about. Can't wait to talk to him.
Landry's actually one of the dogs.
I know, but
Okay,
I'm going off. I'm going off of his Twitter.
I just want to make sure that everybody understands. He's got Landry's one. The other one's named Puck.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about?
Well, I know you know.
I go off of what the Twitter name says, but yes, I do know that there are two dogs, Puck and Landry.
Yes.
And they are the most beautiful dogs I've ever seen.
Well behaved.
They're such beautiful dogs. The most photogenic dogs I've ever seen, actually.
Yep.
I've never seen two dogs take better pictures.
Absolutely.
When I try to take a picture of my dogs, like they won't sit still and they're just moving around like crazy. But can't wait. We're getting ready to talk to him. He's going to be the first listener to join us tonight for episode 100 here in just a few. All right, let's move along with our player grades with Mark Borowiecki.
Mark Borowiecki.
He you want to talk about a player that really fits the persona of this Predators team?
Absolutely.
It's definitely Mark Borowiecki. He's definitely one of them. I gave Mark Borowiecki a flat B. Just because, I mean, a B is really good for a player like him because I'm telling you, he's not going to score points for you. He's not going to be a big goal scorer, obviously. He plays his role very well, though. I mean, you know what you're getting out of him. I got to say, the only thing – I said the same thing about Tanner Jeannot when I gave him his grade. Let's cut down on the penalties just a little bit from him.
Keep your head.
That's a really hard thing to ask of from a player like Borowiecki. But he gets a really solid B from me. 120 hits this season. He put up 364 hits in 2016-17 with Ottawa.
Wow.
So, by the way, we have our first goal of the night, and it is from your team, the Nashville Predators, and it is – did Forsberg score that clean, or did it go off of Carrier? Let's see the replay here. God, what another laser. I'm pretty sure that was Forsberg clean.
Let's see. They haven't done it yet. I'm behind. So Forsberg weird. Now I'm behind again.
So I'm telling you, Forsberg is just piling up.
Oh, there it is.
The highlight reel goals. How many highlight reel goals is Forsberg going to score this season? I mean,
that is what you call a bar down wrister, I believe is what the kids say.
I mean, these are like some lasers. Like they're just like pinpoint lasers. Like these goaltenders have no chance.
Laser. Yes. All right.
Oh my God. Awesome. Forsberg, you are, by the way, we all gave Forsberg an A in his grade. You can go back and listen to the episode. Don't even question us on that.
Yep. All right. Back to the grade. I gave Borowiecki a B as well. Straight up B, just like you did. Like you said, he knows his role and he does it well. He knows he's not a scorer. He's out there to do a job and he does it really well. And him and Benning together, that's like the best third pairing that we've had in a long time that I can think of.
Speaking my language there.
Probably before I even came back to watching hockey. I don't even remember. I think it was Hamhuis and Yannick Weber when I first started watching. So.
Dan Hamhuis. Hey, don't you?
Hammer. I'm
don't
not.
You talking,
I like
don't talk in each. Don't. All right, I'm just making sure. But yes,
I mean, he's no Lucas Pisa. He's no Lucas Pisa.
But Rich, you are absolutely right though. When it comes to, we finally have a third defensive pairing. They've been split up a little bit though this year, just with Dante Fabro being out and things like that. Yep. But when they play together and just them in general, both of them being available is huge for this defensive depth that we're grading right now. Let's move on to Matt Benning. Matt Benning, I didn't give a B. I gave a B-. And the only reason why I gave him a little bit lower than Borowiecki is he's playing more ice time, but his numbers aren't quite as good. He has 8 assists, but, I mean, it's nitpicking a little bit. He doesn't have nearly as many block shots as Borowiecki. His hits are way lower than Borowiecki. But he's another player, another role player that deserves a lot of credit. He does the dirty work. He does the things that aren't going to show up in the highlights. To really appreciate a player like Benning, you have to watch the team every night.
Absolutely.
But I gave him a very modest B-.
Yeah. I went ahead and just gave him a B. The reason I did that is because of the assist, and the other reason is he can play on a the second pairing from time to time. He kind of has that ability to move up and down where he's needed. So I think that's definitely a huge plus in his favor, that he's trusted to, go and play with Ekholm if he needs to. I think he might be playing with him tonight.
That's good.
Remember.
That's a really good point. Versatility is very important. Versatility is a very important thing to bring up there for sure.
Definitely. All right.
Did we leave anybody out? I don't think we did.
We left out
Dante Fabro
and Philippe Myers if we want to do theirs.
All right. We'll get to them a little bit later in the episode. How about we go ahead and bring Landry on? Go ahead and bring him on. Let's see if he's ready to go.
Oh, there's the dogs.
There he is. There's the dogs. What's up?
What's up, guys?
What's up, sir?
How are you? Welcome to Catfish on Ice.
Hey, it's good to be on. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can.
We hear you great.
Absolutely.
We hooked up the iPad, so
it looks great.
It's perfect.
I love your room.
Thank you, man.
Awesome.
That is an awesome room. Landry is a really good decorator.
She's got it all smash filled out. Let me see one of Landry's pillows.
Look, here's
see, she's got her own pillow.
Oh, I like it.
Well, I've seen that. I think I've seen a picture of that on there before. Mike Twitter says, hello, Landry.
Hey, what's up? Mike Twitter was into this discussion. He was trying to discover who Landry belonged to.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
He was kind of going after Johnny up there in Canada, right?
Yeah, I knew it wasn't that.
Yeah, totally off base, Mike.
So I've got to ask you, how is Landry and Puck feeling about this year's Predators? Are they feeling pretty good about the team? How are they feeling?
Yeah, look, see, she's feeling pretty good. She's up here. She's in her spot. She's got them on the TV, so she's feeling pretty good about this year's team. A lot better than we expected them to be.
That's very true. Yes.
Yep.
We expected them to be dead last. They just scored again.
Wow.
No, that's going to the break. Sorry.
I was like, wow, you're way ahead of us then. All right, they're up 1-0.
Yeah, so we're really kind of excited. Yeah, we thought they were going to.
Uh-oh. There it is.
The Admirals. What's that? Oh yeah, there's Puck.
There's Puck. What's up, Puck?
More furry.
Such beautiful dogs.
We can. It cut out for a second. Uh-oh. There you are.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is right there.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited. They're playing a lot better. They lack defense. Like nobody's playing defense over there. Saros is going to be battered and bruised before it's all over with, giving up 40 shots a game, and he'll probably tear something before the season's over with.
Yeah, let's hope not.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, we don't want to have to. We don't want to have to lose Saros. That would be a really bad thing for sure. But yeah, you're right. So I know that your big thing is David Poile, right? I know you're the number one biggest fan in this world of David Poile. Don't even lie. You love David Poile. Tell us your feelings about the Preds front office, about what we need to do, what your thoughts are as a fan, and just seeing what this team needs to do as far as the front office is concerned.
We need to sell the team to a group of people that actually are winners, right? That's what I'm saying.
I like that.
Listen, look at Vegas as a great example, okay? Vegas came out, and how many times have they been in the conference championship since they started? 3?
Yeah.
Okay, 3 times and 1 trip to the Stanley Cup, right? We suffered in this city back when you couldn't even give away Preds tickets, right? You couldn't even give, and the whole marketing effort was, come see this superstar for another team. Come see that superstar for, we suffered for years. Right. We're not owned by a group of people that want to win. You can't tell me that we are. I met with David Poyle when we went to the what was that down in Dallas? The Winter Classic, right?
Oh, right.
We ended up staying at the same hotel that the players stayed at. We didn't realize it, and so
that's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. So we were in the lobby one day, and David sort of just walked over and started talking to us. And I'm sure he's a nice guy, and I'm sure Jesus loves him. But at the end of the day, he is too soft-spoken. I coach people for a living, and I can tell the difference between my guys in sales that are really getting it done at a high level and the ones that are just coasting by and the ones that will never make it. And it's energy. And none of that front office has any energy, in my opinion, where they actually want to go out and win something and put something together that's a winning product. That's my opinion on it, and I'll die on that hill. Same way.
I think your argument definitely has some merit to it because, this franchise has only been to the Stanley Cup once. They've had plenty of great regular seasons. Like they know how to, if they make the playoffs this year, it'll be their 8th straight year making the playoffs. But I've been saying this for years. Preds fans are sick of just making the playoffs. Yeah. Like, I remember how exciting it was when the Preds first beat the Red Wings to go to the second round. I remember that excitement. It was incredible when they first made it out of the first round. It felt like we won the Stanley Cup that year when they made it out of the first round. But that feeling is gone. Like, yeah. And it's kind of weird. It's a weird feeling this season because everyone expected a rebuild, and they're somehow, as of now, outperforming all these expectations. So you don't really know how to feel. It's like losing in the first round is definitely not good enough anymore. And these fans deserve a Stanley Cup, or at the very least, they deserve a team that is consistently contending for Stanley Cups every year. And we just haven't gotten there. And when you're talking about David Poyle, who's been the only GM of this team ever, that I understand the frustration. I totally do.
Well, at the end of the day, it's like it speaks volumes about the ownership and the entire front office that they won't call that guy out. I don't care how long you've been around, right? And this is my opinion. I don't care how long you've been around. You either produce or you don't. That's it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really matter how long you've been around. Tenure means nothing. You can get in Hockey Hall of Fames and all this kind of stuff, and you can have career wins. That's garbage. I don't want a T-shirt that says my general manager has the most career wins. I don't want that T-shirt.
That's true.
Landry doesn't want that T-shirt, right? Mm-hmm. What we want is to actually be competitive, right, and go out there and win. Why is it that a team like Boston can be competitive year after year? Why is it that a team like Pittsburgh, the Penguins, why are they competitive? They could be in a rebuilding season, and you got to go up against them, and it's hard to beat them in their home ice. And Vegas is my perfect example. Thank God the Kraken are losing this year, because if the Kraken were winning,
right.
It would be over. At that point, I probably have to camp out there until David showed up and have a conversation with
him. But I will say that for all the people who want David Poyle gone, this might be the worst season you could be dealing with, because even though we're all fans of the Predators, we want to see him do well. If you really want a big shift in the front office, and if the Predators keep doing what they're doing, it benefits the front office. It benefits John Hines. There's a lot of people who don't like John Hines. They're like, this guy's not the right answer. But if he keeps, it's just like we're kind of stuck with this same leadership.
Here's the question, right?
Yeah.
Is John Hines a great coach, or do we have enough young guns out there that are trying to prove something, that are sick and tired of playing in the AHL, right?
That's a good question. Rich, how about you? That's a really good question. Rich, how about you answer that?
Yeah, so I think
I'll answer.
I think a lot of it, I think it's 60-40. John Hines took those guys like Matt Duchene, who was playing horribly. Ryan Johansson was playing horribly. And I think he really lit a fire under him and turned him around. That being said, the young players are definitely having an impact, which is awesome to see. I think Hines is a good coach. People look at his time when he was in New Jersey, that was a really, really bad New Jersey team. So that's the measuring stick that everybody judges him by. So I like him. I've always liked him. He just needed a chance to prove himself. So we'll see.
Yeah.
This is a year.
I think that it's really hard to answer that question right now. I don't think you really can give an answer to that question right now because you really don't know until you see the full extent of this season. You see how it ends. I mean, the Preds have over a 90% chance to make the playoffs according to all the playoff models right now. So assuming they make it to the playoffs, are we in store for another first round dud where we just get, just blown out in 5 or 6 games by a superior team? I mean, it makes it really complicated. We'll have to wait and see, but I can't answer that question right now, but I will say that I've never been on the John Hines bandwagon at all. I thought the Predators rushed to make the hire to begin with. I thought they should have gone the interim route when they fired Peter Laviolette. They should have tested the coaching market a little bit more, but they hired John Hines like 2 days later after they fired Laviolette. I just thought it was
but didn't
really strange hire.
Didn't John room in college or somewhere with David Poyle? Weren't they roommates somewhere?
I didn't know that.
There's some connection.
Well,
I don't know.
There has to be something to make it that quick of a hire. In the middle of a season, there had to be some type of a connection, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think what happened was the city was frustrated with Peter because Peter lost control of that locker room.
Yeah,
I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but something was not gelling in that locker room. Was it what players were getting along or not getting along? Was it PK? Was it who knows what was going on? But that was a locker room issue that was never talked about. And I firmly believe it was going on. And I think that rests on David Poyle's shoulders. Like when you pay guys $8 million, I really don't care about the attitude you come with. If you come in, if you're going to disrupt my locker room, your payroll might just bounce when you try to cash the check. We're going to set that record straight. Like you're either going to get along or you're going to sit on the bench. I think that's what happened. But
I think that's a big difference. That's a big difference between John Hines and Peter Laviolette, though. I don't think Peter Laviolette has the fire in him anymore with the Preds at the time. And I think he just, like you said, he lost control of the locker room and those guys.
Well, speaking to that, Rich, that's actually perfect timing because John Hines was just livid on behind the bench as the Oilers go on a power play.
He absolutely should be for what happened.
As quiet as John Hines looks sometimes, the guy definitely will let the refs hear it when something's.
I'll tell you who's got the rawest deal since Nashville's had a team, and that was Barry Trotz, because they put him out there and they gave him zero money and zero support. I mean, we got nobody on those teams. I mean,
those early teams are a bunch of blue collar, no superstars whatsoever. They got Paul Correa eventually. They had Jason Arnett. They started picking up some guys once they started making the playoffs. But yeah, those early teams and Barry Trotz absolutely milked the most out of this team, out of his rosters as he possibly could.
Yeah, he was in a no-win situation because they just didn't put any money behind it. I don't know why that is, but they didn't go after any players except for blue-collar players that were playing somewhere in Russia that nobody had ever heard of. Like, hey, you want a shot at? You can come to Nashville. So we picked him up, and so I think he got the raw end of the deal. Because look when he went over there and won those cups. I mean, it proves you give a coach the right players, the coach looks like a superstar.
Yeah.
You give a great coach bad players, and the coach looks like they're terrible. And that's I don't know.
All right. So let me ask you this. I can't wait to ask you this. Then this is really around the front office thing and stuff. As we approach the trade deadline and the Preds have so much money to spend this year, a lot of money to spend right now. They can pretty much offer whatever they want to offer and go out there and be aggressive if they choose to be. What do you think the strategy should be? How are you feeling about it? Do you think they should just move forward with the roster they have and see what happens? How do you feel about it?
Well, I'll say a couple things on that. Number one, we need to get rid of that end of the penalty kill twang on that's got to go. Like we need to spend some money on people that know how to excite the audience down there. So that's where we should spend some of our money, because our twang at the end of the power play when we kill it, it's awful. We want to throw up. So we got to fix that.
Okay.
But here's what I would say. Like, okay, we just came off of 2 years worth of COVID, right? Mm-hmm. And so people are still kind of like, all sided. I'm either on this side or that side. It's a very divisive issue. We know the Preds started this season off for 45 days where they had a lot of mandates of how you had to get in. You either had to have a shot or cards. It was a lot of stuff. I know I've been told roughly 40% of the season ticket holders said, I'm out. Now, I don't know if it was that high. I know a lot of my friends turned their season tickets back in. Said, we're just not going to play the game. We'll watch you on TV or whatever. So it doesn't really matter which side of the fence you're on. I'm just talking about, like, that was a bad move on their part. Yeah. And it alienated a group of people. And that group of people spent money in the lower bowl. That was who it alienated, right? Those tickets are not cheap in the lower bowl. So they moved a lot of people down from the top, and they got to sit in the lower bowl for TV purposes. They didn't want to look bad. So because of that reason, I would spend some money to get this team into the second round or even the conference championship to get some of those people back, because winning cures everything.
It does.
It sure does.
I'll forgive a lot of your past transgressions if I can get a Western Conference championship shirt or banner. A lot of that, So I would put the gas on right now for that.
Why
reason.
not?
I don't know who's in the marketplace and who we could get. We probably.
But
I really the defensive core is what we need to do.
Yeah, I'll fall on your side on that as far as they need to. I mean, if you've got the team and you're already performing this way and you've got the money, why? Like, you can't take, like, we talked to Puckpedia, who's really focuses on the salary cap stuff in the last episode, and he was like, you can't take this money with, like, it doesn't roll over necessarily. So it's like if you're in the position to make some moves, then you need to make some moves. So that's kind of where the Preds are at. So
I just think I would go in, because again, I don't know how many of those people are still coming back to the game, because we said no. And then we're like, then the day they lifted everything, my ticket rep called me like 5 times, like, hey, come on back. They'll give us anything we want right now. We can sit anywhere we want, and so that means there's still a lot of unsold seats.
That's awesome.
I go in just because I would try to get the city back on my side and put all this other stuff behind us as far as we can. And that's just my point of view, but it's got to be.
No, I totally agree. Winning does cure all. I feel like the fans have not been quite, even though they're playing well this year, Bridgestone Arena just doesn't sound the same as it sounded in the past. And you go to a lot of the games, and so I'm sure you can attest to that. So,
well, it's empty. My row doesn't have, me and Ange will sit on our row at the end, and then there's 8 seats beside us that are empty and 8 seats behind us that are empty, and then there'll be a person here and a person there. So you can't get the crowd noise when you got that much.
But like you said, though, winning cures all. Titan season is over. I said that as well. I said, you know what? All those Titans fans who are all in on football season, they're going to start looking for other outlets. This team, if they keep winning, we'll see what happens. But they've got a core roster, and they've got the cap situation to where if they really want to go all in, they can do it. I know that scares some people, but they can do it if they choose to.
They played good in that series against the Canes last year.
Oh, absolutely.
They did. I'm glad you bring that up.
And they win that. You know what I'm saying? And they should have gotten.
I'm glad you bring that up.
To be honest with you.
Yes. That was. I actually came out of that series feeling pretty good about it. I mean, I hate losing, but I came out of that series feeling really, honestly, I was pretty impressed by how they pushed it to 6 games and played a team that was on paper, farly superior to them on paper anyway. So it's been awesome having you on. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Seeing Landry and seeing you got to pan the camera to Puck. Let's see Puck one more time.
Okay. And by the way, my name's Tim, by the way. So
all right. So I just call you Landry because that's your Twitter. That's your Twitter handle.
Let's been demystified.
All right, you ready?
That is the ultimate. Oh, look at Puck. Look at Puck.
So furry.
Such pretty dogs. I love it.
Yeah.
I love your
And then
Preds,
they got
man. Your Preds man cave is like.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that
Love
is just so awesome.
That's their bubble hockey with the Preds and the Blues. So.
Oh, it's
nice.
sweet.
Anyway, yeah, y'all have to come over sometime, watch a game.
Yeah,
we will come over sometime. Well, for sure.
I would drive
invite.
down to do that for sure.
Yeah, we'll hook you up. We're trying to. I don't know if we can pull this off or not. I got these contractors and we're working on it. We're trying to replicate the scoreboard downtown in the arena. You know, the Preds scoreboard.
Oh, that'd be.
We're going to try to replicate that and hang it from the roof.
Oh my gosh,
that's awesome!
Wow. All right, we're definitely.
If we pull,
we got to be there.
Chad, your ass better get here, man.
Yeah,
I'll be there, and we will make it a full podcast thing. We will definitely come down. We appreciate the invite. You're welcome on anytime in the future. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Thanks
you guys do a great
man.
job. Keep doing the good work. We'll keep harassing David Poole and retweeting y'all show.
All right, we got it. Thank you so much. Take it easy. Have a good night,
man.
See you, man.
See you all.
All right, bye. All right, that was fun. That was awesome.
Yes, very much.
So we got Tim, who has
Tim is his name. There you go.
The owner of Landry and Puck, the beautiful dogs. We just had our first listener appreciation episode. He brought the heat. I loved it. Some good stuff to talk about there. Some hot takes, some spicy topics.
Yep.
I can tell you that he is one of the most diehard fans out there.
Yep. Long time fan as well.
He goes to almost all the home games that I see when he shares. You see his bonus room or whatever that is, and you see all those.
Absolutely.
That was cool. That was awesome. Great way to start the listener appreciation episode.
Yep.
Good stuff. Thank you so much, Tim, for joining us on episode 100, the listener appreciation episode. All right. We got to, before we get to our next listener, which is Max Greenberg, who has been on the podcast before, fellow contributor on Predlines.com.
He'll have some takes.
Of course. Oh, yeah, he definitely will. He knows his Predators as well.
Yeah.
Before we get to him, he'll be joining us in a little bit, about 20 minutes from now. We got some other topics to get into here, Rich. As we roll through episode 100, we've still got a couple more. We got like 4 more players to grade.
I know, right?
We got 2 goaltenders and 2 defensemen. Let's round out the defensemen with first Dante Fabro. You know me, Rich.
I'm
one of the biggest Dante Fabro fans out there, supporters. Yep. I think he gets wrongly criticized too much by the fan base. Considering how young he still is, considering very much what Alex Carrier has gone through. Dante Fabro was just thrown into the mix,
maybe worse.
Early.
Maybe worse.
Maybe worse.
Dante Fabro. So
hey, real quick, gotta jump in. Arguably the world's best hockey player just scored on the Preds.
Oh.
Connor McDavid got loose.
How did he even get that in there?
So, Rich, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say this right now.
I don't like it.
Rich, I'm going to go in here and say this right now. When you've got a one-on-one situation with Connor McDavid and Matt Benning, Connor McDavid's probably going to win that situation 95% of the time. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Connor McDavid just flew past him by Benning.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even really call it he flew past him. It was more like he bullied his way past Benning.
I think that's definitely a better description.
But that is why Connor McDavid is one of the best players in the world. And I do like this response the Preds are making here. They just had a good setup for Sissons right in the slot. And period ends. The period ends with a 1-1 game. Oilers score late in the period thanks to Connor McDavid, who we all know is one of the best players in the world. So
like a video game.
It's a 1-1 game. I mean, that's the one thing the Oilers have. They have Leon Draisaitl. They have Connor McDavid. They have a few other decent players, but really Their team is driven by their superstars, and we just got a bad taste of that with Connor McDavid.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do?
Hey, I'm still feeling good about this game. It's a 1-1 game. It's the first intermission.
Absolutely.
No reason to be too upset going into the first intermission.
No.
All right, so here's Dante Fabro.
Yep.
I might shock you with my grade.
All right.
I didn't really go that high with him.
Okay.
I went B-.
Oh, okay.
Just because I'm not seeing the growth from him and the development from him in his offensive game like I'd really like to see. His talent level says that he should absolutely be a full-time second pairing defenseman and maybe even eventually, hopefully, be a top pairing defenseman. Now, of course, we have Alexander Carrier, who has shown that he can play that role. But that's the only thing I have really with Fabro is that his offensive game is not really evolving like I'd like to see. Not as quickly, at least. But you cannot overlook Fabro's defensive blue line presence.
Right.
He is a brick wall. He is the type that he's in the right place at the right time. You don't always notice it unless you're really focusing on the game, but he is always in the right defensive position to make the opposing team have to work a little bit harder to find those scoring chances. And I've seen the Preds have missed that since he's been gone. I've seen it. So that's why he still gets a B- for me. But obviously his ceiling is still a lot higher than where he's at right now.
Yeah. I gave him a B, just a flat out B. You can tell that he's missed on the team right now. Definitely. So that tells you something a little bit right there about his impact that he does have. I know that he improves. He's improved every year, and he's off to going to have a really good season this year. And he had a little bit of a learning lesson last season when he didn't play. I don't think he played. I don't remember. I know he didn't play in Carolina at all against Carolina. And I think he took that and maybe learned a little bit, but he's just getting better every year. And he's not that old. Like you said, he's still very young, and he got thrown into a pretty big situation very early in his career. So
he did.
I mean, that'll wear on you a little bit.
I think people definitely forget sometimes how early he was thrown into the mix.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget that.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, this is only his fourth season with Nashville. So,
and he never spent any time in the minors. He pretty much went straight in from college.
Yeah. Actually, it's more like his third season because he only played in 4 games in 2018 and 19. So.
Yeah. It's his third full season. Exactly.
Right.
And he never got any time with the Admirals. He went straight from college.
Yeah.
So you just got to understand it takes time in this league.
True. Justin says, I don't think Fabro can be offensive when he plays with Yossi, and he has to be a safety net when Yossi is aggressive.
That's a really good point. That's why Justin Gambino, very good point there. I love that. That's really looking at it in a different way, for sure.
Absolutely.
That's one of the few knocks you get on Roman Yossi's game is Roman Yossi does the way he plays offensively really makes it hard on his line mates. Because they have to make up for the counterattack. If his aggression doesn't work out, you have to. So that's a really good point by Justin there.
Be ready to, track down the puck if it goes the other way.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to Philippe Myers. Let's give him a grade because he has played in a decent amount of games.
Save the best for last, huh?
He's played in almost half of the games this year. For the Preds. He's gotten spot duty. He's not a regular starter.
Right.
But I gave Philippe Myers a C+. And the thing about Philippe Myers is he's kind of filled the role when he needs to fill it. He's been out there, but he's just nothing impressive to me when he's out there.
Right.
He's shown some flashes, but when you look at that trade with Ryan Ellis, which some really bad news on the Ryan Ellis front. He might miss the entire rest of the season for the Flyers.
Wow.
So a lot of people were upset when Ryan Ellis was traded. And I mean, you can go back and roll the tape. I remember feeling like, you know what? I love Ryan Ellis, but his injury concerns, he's just not the same player anymore.
And there you go.
I didn't feel that bad about the return the Preds were getting out of him at the time. And this sounds bad, but at the time I remember feeling like it's the Philadelphia Flyers problem now.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
like his injury problems are the Flyers problems now. And I was like, prove me wrong that Ryan Ellis can make it through a full season without being injured.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong. And what do you know? He's made very little impact for the Flyers this year because he cannot stay healthy.
Yeah.
He can't stay on the ice.
Absolutely.
So meanwhile, at least the Predators have Fleet Myers, a depth player who can be plugged in when you need him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's a regular starter by any means, but at least you've got some depth here. He's got one more year left on his contract after this year. So the Preds he'll probably stick around next season. But yeah.
I gave him a C-, but it's really not all his fault, I don't think. He struggled, but he doesn't get to play consistently, and that's tough for any player, really.
Yeah.
He's got 2 points in 19 games. He averages like 15 minutes of ice time. He does have a lot of blocks and some hits, but in 19 games. But yeah, just a placeholder until until you can get Favreau back. Unfortunately, but he's never really had like a stellar like NHL career so far. I mean, he's young too. He's only played in 3 or 4 seasons, but
let's say that never happens and the Preds still have Ryan Ellis. Well, Ryan Ellis is not playing for you anyway, and you don't have a Fleet Myers to be your depth player.
That's right.
So it's not a huge win in the trade, but you've got to say the Preds won that trade so far in the sense that at least you got a player who can be available for
somebody you can plug in,
and give you a little bit of depth. But I mean, he gets a C- from you, he gets a C+ from me.
Yeah,
nothing spectacular.
It's not all his fault.
He's not going to make anything too crazy for you out there, but at least if you put him in when you have to lean on him, you can't be too upset about it.
Yep. So
all right. Let's round out our midseason grades with the goaltenders. Rich, I'm going to let you open it up with UC Saros because I know that you are the number one fan of UC Saros probably in the entire Kentucky region. I'm just going to say Kentucky.
That's right.
You thought I was going to say entire world.
No, I'll give you the entire world.
I'll give you state of Kentucky for sure.
Yeah. Kyle Perkins lives in Kentucky. I think he likes Saros
you and Kyle Perkins can fight over who is the bigger fan of UC Saros.
Yeah, that's true. So I gave him an A. It could borderline being an A+, obviously. Vezina worthy is how I would describe him this season. He took the baton from Pecorine and just hasn't looked back since. And this team would be hugely different if they did not have him in goal. I don't even know.
Sure. They'd be scrambling. They'd be scrambling.
They would not be where they are right now. Let's put it that way. Nowhere near where they are because he has definitely kept them in games. So
if they didn't have UC Saros, then they would be one of those teams that just has to shuffle through 3 or 4 goaltenders every game.
Yep. Lindsay said A+ for UC. Sorry. Justin Gambino gives him a whole bunch of A+. So
the best grade we've gotten all year is an A++++.
That's a lot of pluses, but yeah,
definitely. I might make some people mad here with my grade. I don't know. It's not an A+. It's not an A. He's barely cracking into A territory for me. He gets an A-, but he's flirting with a B for me. And the only reason is he has given up some soft goals this year. You cannot say he hasn't in some bad situations. And he's had some really bad games, a couple of really bad games.
Yes.
So I can't give him an A+ because A pluses are reserved for like literally you can't find one blemish. That's what A pluses are for.
Yeah.
Saros, I'm sorry if I'm being objective. He's not perfect. He's about as close as to perfect as you can get, but he's not perfect.
Very close.
He still is. He gives out too many rebounds. That's my biggest thing for Saros, and he's always been that way.
That's true.
He will make that initial save, but sometimes he's really bad about smothering the puck. And that can burn him a lot of times when teams are crashing the net. So I give him an A-. That's still very good. That's still very respectful. Yes, I do think that he should be in the top 3 Vezina voting nomination if it was held today. He should be top 3. But A- is what I give him.
A-. That's fair. That might as well be an A. That's like you said.
But we've been going plus and minus all year with these midseason grades, or all through the grades. And so if we're going to be technical about it, we're going to be technical.
What you said, you're absolutely true. It's true. Yeah, I mean, he has given up some bad goals. I think,
and all goaltenders have, but most goaltenders have. But
you're right. I think he should have probably stopped this Connor McDavid one too. Truthfully,
that's Connor McDavid though. Come on,
yeah,
man.
But I don't know. It didn't look like it was anything.
But that's my point. That's why I can't give him an A+. That's why I can't give him an A+.
You're right. Yeah,
all right.
That's why I just gave him a flat A.
Hey, we're gonna go with David Riddick's grade, and Rich, let me warn you, Lindsay is gonna be on in like 20 minutes, so you better be kind with your grade.
You did this on purpose, I think, didn't you?
I didn't do anything on purpose.
Yeah, I just gave him a C. I hate to. I'm not trying to be ugly or anything, and it's another case of where it's not really his fault. He's doesn't get to play much, and Lindsay's even told us he needs to get starts to get better. But it's just, they're going to ride UC Saros as long as they can. So he just can't get in any kind of rhythm, but he's had some really good performances, but there's also been some that have, there's been some issues, and some of it has been not his fault, as in the team in front of him has kind of left him hanging a few times, but yeah, it's not his fault, but it is what it is. So,
all right. I see where you're coming from, but C seems a little harsh for me.
When you say it out loud, it does.
Just because you kind of already made your own point there. He's not getting the consistent starts. He's thrown in there randomly from when he does get his starts. And in the games he's been in, I mean, he has not been done a lot of favors from his defense at all. And I mean, it's been a really rough first season for him with the Preds. I mean, that's got to be honest. Like, it has not gone smooth for him at all. Yeah. He's made some really big saves. I mean, his last start against who did he start against last? Yeah. So he went almost a full month between starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A full month. And his last game against Vancouver was definitely probably one of his worst starts he has had against Vancouver. But what do you expect when a guy goes almost a full month without starting, dead in the middle of a season?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm going to give him I'm just going to give him a B-. I can't give him a C. I can't do it because I don't think it's on him. Goaltenders are the type of players that need consistent starts. And even though he is the backup, and so he's not going to get consistent, like no one's saying split the starts with UC Saros.
Right.
But I do think we can all agree that Saros needs to start getting a little bit more rest from time to time. And I think that would benefit Riddick if he was getting more starts here and there.
There's definitely been opportunities where they have played Saros when they probably shouldn't have.
I've seen Riddick. You won't see it necessarily in his goals against average and his save percentage, but in some of the games that Riddick's been in, he has survived a lot of barrages.
He sure has.
He has made some incredible saves. The problem is he's probably rusty, and yes, he's given up some soft goals, but I can't put it all on him. So, I mean, I'm just going to give him a B-, and I need to really see more of him before I can go one way or the other, you know?
Well, Lindsay said she'll accept my C, so.
All right. Fair enough. We'll ask her. We'll ask her how she's feeling about the whole David Riddick situation.
I like him. It's not that I don't like him. I think he does do a good job. It's just some struggles, but
there are some struggles, and it's hard. Hey, it's hard to be a backup goaltender in this league. I mean, it's really difficult.
It is. Lindsay says, I think I would give him a B-, maybe a B. He gives them a win. It's not considered for sure consistent. I can agree with that, but when you didn't play for months, it's hard. You're right, and he has had some big saves.
Yep.
So,
I think Lindsay pretty much. Yeah, me and Lindsay are on the same page there with Riddick. I think that it's really hard to ask too much of him when he's going so long between starts. You're talking about a former starting goaltender. I mean, Riddick's been a starter in this league. Yeah. And now you're asking him to randomly get starts every, 2 weeks? He gets a start, maybe?
Well, I guess. It seems like it's just
too much. It's too much. So, I mean, that's what you sign up for when you're backing up UC Saros, though. But, all right. Yep. Max Greenberg is about to join us. He's the next listener to join us for a listener appreciation episode. Episode 100, presented by Draftkings with Chad Minton and Rich Howe as your host. Before we get to Max, we've got our Draftkings offer of the week.
Oh, yeah.
And that is for the NFL playoffs. 4 teams remain in the NFL playoffs. And that means that you have 4 teams left to bet on at the DraftKings Sportsbook and official sports betting partner of the NFL, counting down to Super Bowl 56. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN and get 56-1 odds on any NFL team. Bet just $5 and win $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code THPN for 56-1 odds at DraftKings Sportsbook, and official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 years or older in New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager is required. 1 per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. And if you are not a new customer, let's say you've already signed up for the DraftKings Sportsbook app, you can experience the conference championships with same-game parlays, combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. And DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. I can tell you that firsthand because I use DraftKings, and it is very convenient, very safe, very reliable. You can pull out your winnings on the same day, deposit it to your bank account. So go get the DraftKings Sportsbook app now.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's welcome Max Greenberg in.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's up, man?
Pretty good, man. It's good to have you back.
Yes,
absolutely. It's glad to be here again in the middle of the game this time. It's the first time I've been here and watching a game at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, Max, we don't know how you act during a game. I feel like you act kind of crazy during games.
You know from Twitter how I act there. So
yeah. I think you're probably crazy at the games.
So let's start. Before, all right. So we want our listeners to drive the episode, talk about whatever they want to talk about. But before we get to that, you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Yeah. How are you feeling about that first period? First off, though,
I thought the first period there wasn't a whole lot going on. We got the goal early. Other than that, there wasn't a ton. Like they got all those shots. Like one point it was 11-3 in the shots, and I didn't really even notice hardly because we were giving up a lot of shots apparently. Although their chances weren't that quality. I thought. And then until McDavid got that one goal, he blew by Matt Benning. And, of course, no one's going to stop McDavid, let alone Matt Benning, who's like normally he's on the third pairing. So what are you going to do there?
Yeah.
Preds are on the power play right now.
That's what
the power plays look bad tonight.
Rich always likes to say that Connor McDavid is a cheat code, and he kind of showed that on that play.
I think that's pretty accurate. And I think it's pretty accurate.
All right, Max. Yeah. Max, steer the conversation. Tell us what we need to talk about here with the Preds. What's on your mind, man? How are you?
So I guess one observation I had, kind of random, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, is like I feel like our power play, and I think tonight's a perfect example, either we're on or we're just terrible. And tonight we're getting dominated. The puck is barely in their zone. I mean, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing that as well.
Well, here's how I feel about it, Max. So I do think the power play has shown a lot of improvement this year, mainly due to personnel. But I will say that there is plenty of times when the power play is just they can't get on the same page and they just can't figure out how to get in the zone.
Exactly.
Like right
and
now.
I will say
it's almost like when they don't get set up from the very beginning. It's when they don't get set up from the very beginning, it feels like they don't have much of a chance.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think another thing that it comes down to, and I'm sure you can say this about a lot of teams, honestly, like no one has time to study every team's power play, except for the diehard analytic people. But I will say that I think a lot of times the Preds just make one too many passes. They get a little too fancy.
I kind of agree.
Matt Duchene is one of the world's worst about this. That's the biggest thing that makes me angry about Matt Duchene sometimes is he tries to make too many passes. He tries to get too fancy.
He does, definitely.
We've got a Zachary. What was that?
Yeah,
Zachary
that's my friends. They're like literally, they're friends. I might right across me right now.
They sent Max with a heart. Oh,
yeah, they're
sweet.
They're right in front of me right now.
That's awesome.
All right, so Rich, how are you feeling about the Preds power play? That's a good topic to bring up, honestly, because
I agree with what he said. What Max said. It's either good or not good. When it's on, and
feast or famine.
When they struggle, it's not good.
Hey,
like
Max, Max. Well, I got you, man. Because I know you're a fellow diehard Titans fan. Are you recovering?
Oh, you had to go there.
Have you come to grips with reality? Are we calm? How are you feeling about that, man? I mean, because I'm a Titans fan as well, and it took me like 2 days to process it.
No, let me tell you, there have been a lot of losses with the Preds, Titans, like the 2019 playoffs of the Preds is an example. This was one of the tougher ones. Like this one is going to take a while to get over. Like that was, and the worst part is we gave them that game straight up.
Those are the worst losses. Those are the worst losses when you actually play a good game and you still lose.
Gave it to them. You got 9 sacks and you still can't win the game. I mean,
yeah.
All right. I'm sorry I brought it up, Max, but you write for Titan Size, which is also part of the Fansided Network, and you put a lot of Titans takes out there, probably more than Preds takes, honestly. And I like a lot of your Titans takes.
Right around like this part of the year, but now that the Titan season's over, it's going to be like I was last spring with the Preds. It's going to be full-time Preds.
But you put a lot of good Titans. You put a lot of good Titans stuff out there, so I wanted to ask you about it. But we'll recover.
Some of it's overreaction, but a lot of it I think
is. That's how we all are. That's
how fans are.
Yeah. Heat of the moment, anger.
So we're watching this Preds Oilers game. It's still 1-1. We're about 4 minutes into the second period. As Max was alluding to, Preds power play comes up empty. They didn't really look on the same page at all. Yeah.
And
the thing about the Oilers.
Another question I have.
All right, shoot.
What in the world happened to Tommy Novak?
Well, he had an injury in the AHL that apparently it really messed him up bad, and he missed a lot of time. And I think he finally played in the last game for the Admirals, if I remember seeing correctly.
I think
so.
I hadn't heard it at all, and I'm just thinking like, what's going on? Because the Cousins Novak systems. I mean, what Cousins Novak Tomasino line is doing so well.
Yes, I think he. So wasn't he in COVID protocols for a little bit too?
He was.
Yeah.
But I think eventually, he had to go down to Milwaukee to get and I think he got hurt in a game he got hurt in a game for Milwaukee like a week or two ago.
Oh,
and so now
breakaway. Oh, not quite.
So now the big thing is you really have to wonder if I see what you're talking about, Max. You're like 5 seconds ahead of me, Max.
Oh, sorry.
That looked like an open net. Hey, that looked like an open net. Close call.
I got to bottle up my reaction so you guys can see because you're.
No, you're fine. No, don't do it at all.
We want all the emotions.
No. Sorrow's got to save. Let's go.
I'm assuming this is another one of your friends here.
Oh my goodness, people! Oh my goodness, I guess they send people in my fraternity. Oh, people know.
Oh, Max Greenberg is popular. He's making our podcast popular tonight. Thank you so much, Max.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
all
awesome.
Right. That's
thank my friends, not me.
Fun stuff. All right.
So funny.
So let's see. So yeah, Saros. Oh yeah, the Oilers are really starting to put it on us here. Gotta survive this barrage here. All right, Max, we got you here for a little bit longer. So let me ask you, what is the ceiling for this Preds team for the rest of the season?
That's a good question.
Realistically speaking, how far do you think they can go where we'll all be very happy with it? We'll be pleased with it. Like, okay, they made it this far.
I think if you make second round of the playoffs, you got to be really, really satisfied. I think that's about where we can go. I in the back of my mind, I wrote an article about this on Pred Lines. In the back of my mind, I'm just thinking, is this going to be like 2014-15 where we come out with little expectations, come out strong, come March and April, we just completely tail off and don't have a chance. I'm hoping it's not going to be like that.
Right.
Yeah, Justin Gambino just said second round.
Yeah,
I think that's about as far as I think.
If you are
right now, I think we're overachieving.
If you're a realistic Preds fan, and this team makes the second round and you're still not pleased, then I got nothing for you, because this was supposed to be a rebuild season where the Preds finished in 6th or 7th place maybe. And I mean, let's not let's not like get too far ahead of ourselves here, because there's still a lot of games left. But assuming that the playoff predictors and all the playoff odds are correct, if they make the second round, we should all be
you got to be more than pleased.
That. Yeah.
And I think they could give anyone a fight, because when you come in with that underdog mentality, you have no expectation, you're going to give people a fight, especially with the Preds. Like, no one's going to give them much of a chance all year because we're not expected to go anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big man on campus, Greenbergler. Is that your nickname?
Yeah, that's what some people call me.
I love that nickname, Greenbergler. I'm going to call you that all the time now. That's awesome.
Clint Lander says it's funny how fast people's expectations.
I think
absolutely.
Yeah.
People,
that's a good point. Yeah, people's expectations change from season to season. It's a good point from Clint there, because
week to week, day to day, honestly, too.
Well, in the preseason, the expectations were super low for this team. We're like, let's just hope they give us some excitement. Let's hope that they can just be a fun team to watch. We'll live with the consequences. But now Predators fans were getting up in arms and getting all freaking out when they lost 4 in a row just now. Like, when they lost 4 games in a row, I saw fans already jumping off the bandwagon.
Oh, yeah.
No. And I remember you said something on Twitter, like every team goes through one of these losing streaks, and it's about how you respond. Like, and it clearly, at least not right now, it's not like 2014-15 where we had no control over it. At least not now. Knock on wood. Who knows?
Absolutely.
Well, Max, it's been awesome having you on. Thank you for participating in the listener appreciation episode. We will definitely have you on again in the future. You're in our Catfish on Ice podcast fantasy league. You're in our private group chat, so we talk to you all the time. We love you, man. Thank you for all your awesome – you do awesome work for Predlines.com. And tell us all of our listeners about the other sites you write for.
I write for Titan Size, and also the other website I write for is Overtime Heroics Hockey, which I mainly have Preds writer there. But I also try to cover more of NHL teams, so I want to have most of my Preds content on Predlines, of course.
Gotcha. Awesome. So go follow all of his content. Max Greenberg. Go do that. He's one of our good friends of the podcast, and we're very happy he got to join us tonight. Have a great night, man. Go Preds.
Take it easy, man.
Thanks for having me. See you guys.
Bye.
See you.
All right.
Here's a good point. Clint said people were wanting to tank before the season, and now it's a disappointment if we don't make the second round. Yeah, that's true.
Yep, that's a very good
absolutely
point
true.
from Clint there. I mean, expectations do change very quickly
Yep.
as the season goes on.
Max's friends, man, they are like relentless. Here's like Hammer the Greenberg money line. Here's one. Here's one. Max Greenberg is a secret Blue Jackets fan.
Oh, I got problems with that.
We're
gonna have to call him out on that one.
Yeah, man.
Closet Blue Jackets fan. What's going on here?
Giving him the blues there. It's kind of funny.
All right, so the Preds are trying to kill off a really big penalty here.
Yep, Johansson for slashing.
Yes. Let's see.
42 seconds is what I'm showing.
You're 30 seconds behind me, Rich. 30
so
seconds
weird.
behind me. All right. Looks like, not to spoil it for you, Rich, but it looks like the Preds have killed off this penalty.
Awesome.
And we're back to full strength after Saros makes a patented glove save.
There you go. We'll take
but
it.
I got to tell you, it's a losing formula if we keep putting the Oilers on the power play. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. Here's Max's friend. Go Pens, says Max Greenberg.
Oh my gosh, Max Greenberg, your friends are coming after you tonight.
Ruthless.
I love it. All right, we're getting ready to have Lindsay join us.
Oh, she up next? Here we go. Here we go.
She's up next. And I'm excited to have her. She is, of course, she's the big Calgary Flames fan, but she has adopted the Predators, has her second team.
Yep.
She joined our podcast way early on. She's been a huge supporter of the podcast. We love connecting with her, talking with her. She knows her hockey. She's a great friend of the podcast, so we're really excited to have her join here in a few minutes.
She's
Until
from Canada.
then,
I think they're just born with it.
Until then, we also got to do our battle for the Central Power rankings. We'll start listing those off as we go.
We will. Actually, here's our friend Lindsay right now.
There's Lindsay.
Hello.
How's it going?
What's up, Lindsay?
I'm good. Just the Flames have depressed me, so I've moved to the Oilers in Nashville game.
Well,
hey, Lindsay, you joined at just the right time because the Preds had just taken a 2-1 lead over the Oilers.
Yep, here it is.
Matt Duchene on a breakaway.
Yep.
Excellent.
Please
be.
So, Lindsay, please tell us about your dislike for the Edmonton Oilers and where that comes from.
Well, I grew up as a Flames fan, so we don't like each other. I don't think if you talk to any Oilers fans, any Flames fans, we just don't like each other. We can't stand each other. It's the Battle of Alberta, and we get very heated in it.
Yes.
That's understandable.
So, like my uncle's a huge Oilers fan, and me and him constantly go back and forth, be like, "Oh, go Flames! The Oilers suck." Like,
that's awesome.
It is. Like, I do think it's one of the best rivalries, if not the best rivalry in hockey.
Right.
Like, I really do. Like, it's
insane.
Yes, it is. It's awesome.
It's like there's some before COVID hit. So like the 2019 season, like the season before COVID hit, I think we had a goalie fight. We had Matthew Tkachuk running over Cassian, and Flames fans call it like being like Cassian to stay off the tracks. And
I remember that.
Like, oh, he's a turtle. And then we had Cam Talbot fighting Mike Smith. We had a David Riddick like flew his stick.
Oh, I remember that. Yes, I remember that.
So it's like, yeah, we don't like each other.
I like your backdrop. I love your backdrop here. I see a David Riddick jersey. I see a Hurdle jersey. I see what else? A Kaprizov. Is that? Or
and then Kiprusoff.
Who's that? Kiprusoff. Yeah.
Kiprusoff. Yeah.
Awesome.
Love it. Love the backdrop.
And then there's a side Monahan at the very, very back.
So
nice.
Cool. So cool.
Yeah, I thought it'd pull out some of the flame stuff, and I was like, I have to wear my Preds jersey. So
for sure, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
So how are you feeling about the Predators this season? What are you feeling pretty good about them? Do they got you feeling pretty confident right now?
Depending on the game, I think sometimes. I do appreciate that they don't give up. Like I think on the games I've actually watched and like actually watched the whole game, they never give up. They're never out of it. And as a Flames fan, a lot of times our Flames just kind of like give up or very like they very much do not play the third period once they're down. So I think that's really refreshing for me to see.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you
like,
that's a new thing within the past season and half of last season, because probably in 2019-20 and then the season after that, lots of giving up. There was just, if they got down a goal, you can just pretty much count them out. But that's
almost,
not like that anymore.
Yeah, past Predators teams, sometimes when they fell down like 2 goals, it was almost like, let's just turn off the TV and not watch it. Whereas,
and that's kind of like where we are with the Flames right now. It's like, we're down, like game is over. Might as well turn on a different game.
But I gotta tell you, like, so I haven't really seen the Flames lately. Are they going through a little bit of a rough patch right now? Because I feel like they were really shooting off really well there early on, or how are the Flames doing right now?
They were going through kind of the same rough patch that Nashville was going through, which kind of sucked because like the Flames would lose and then Nashville would lose the next day, and then the Flames would lose and then Nashville would lose again. I'm just like, what if I keep no? I was like, can I just take one win? I just want one.
Yeah.
And so awesome. This week has been pretty good. Like they're getting kind of, the Blues are not happy with us from Monday, so they showed up today. Because we let's talk about nothing.
So besides David Riddick, because I know David Riddick's your favorite Preds player, obviously, but let's talk about your second favorite Preds player. Tell us who it is, Lindsay. I think I already know. I thought I probably could have guessed that, but I still wanted to ask you. Yeah. So Tanner Jeannot, just kind of tell us what you appreciate about Tanner Jeannot, how he's playing this season, what you really like about his game. Just kind of tell us about him.
So I don't know how much Flames hockey you guys have watched. So he really reminds me of Andrew Mangiapane, who is one of my favorite players on the Flames.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he's one of those guys that kind of like shows up every night. He's not scared to fight. Like he's going to get in your face. My boyfriend actually said that Tanner Jeannot, from what he has heard, is kind of reminding him of a younger Jarome Iginla, which is super high praise. Especially coming from a Flames.
Yes. Yes, it is.
So,
that is.
Wow.
And I agree. Like, I think he is a lot like Iggy was. Like Iggy can score. Tanner Jeannot can score. He can set up plays. Tanner Jeannot can set up plays. Tanner Jeannot doesn't back down from a fight. Iginla never backed down from a fight. Obviously he's young, so I don't know what his leadership qualities are like, but like he's a natural born leader. He always was, and I think I can see Jeannot stepping into that role at some point if he stays with
that is a hell of a comparison, though.
That is a good one. Absolutely.
Wow, like that just got me like tingly inside a little bit because I love Jarome Iginla. When I first started watching hockey and I started getting into it, because we don't get into. Unfortunately, here in the Southeast, we don't get into hockey as early as our fellow Canadians do. Like sometimes, like especially here in Nashville, like I didn't really start getting into hockey until I started getting into high school. I wish I would have picked it up sooner because I love the sport so much. But Jarome Iginla is one of the first players I remember like seeing. Like when I was just watching hockey and thinking, wow, I really like this player. I love the way this player plays.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. It just did not like, and I think that helped when Dave was out for like during his COVID protocol. Cause like, obviously I came to the Preds because David Riddick came. That was why I joined the squad. Yeah. But I have fallen in love with the Preds team. And I think the big part of that was I was watching it even when Dave was out for the 2-3 weeks he was out for COVID. And I started I'm like, okay, I really like these personalities. Like, oh my gosh, Tanner Jeannot is really cool. Like, and now I'm just like, I'm going to be sad when Dave leaves. Cause like, I know you guys only have him for the year. And I'm like, I want to stick around. I like this team.
Well, I mean, let's talk about David Riddick. I think that he's definitely should be getting more starts. We were talking about it just now in the game grade or the midseason grade for him. And I just feel like it's really hard. I think David Riddick was one of the hardest players to grade out of all the players we graded. At least for me, it was. Because how can you grade a guy who's not getting getting a lot of starts. He's not getting much playing time.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I don't even know how we gave him a grade because you really don't know.
Tough.
Like, and I think Saros does need some more rest. And I've said this all year. I think Riddick is a quality backup that the Preds should show more faith in.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to play a little bit better in front of him too, because in most of his starts, he has not gotten very good defense in front of him. So, I mean, Lindy, just kind of tell us how you feel about David Riddick so far this season in Nashville. I know you're a big fan of his. And, of course, off the ice, David Riddick is such a class act and such an amazing player. Everyone, tell us about some of the stuff he does off the ice. Just kind of tell us everything about David Riddick.
Well, obviously, I'm a big fan of him due to his like off ice antics. Like, I could care less about how well he plays. Some days I'm just like, I like you as a player, like as a person. I fell in love with the human aspect of the person before I fell in love with the hockey player. So I guess for some of the human aspects he's done, like you guys know, when he came to Calgary, he just got off of COVID protocol. Obviously, I was devastated. Like, he didn't play. I was devastated because that's why I bought the tickets. But he is a fan here in Calgary. He's he's a young boy, and he chatted with his dad and was like, "Hey, like, I want to give him a stick. I want to meet him."
Yeah.
And like, they got to meet and got a hockey stick. I know I've sent it to you guys in our group chats. So, just like that kind of stuff. And like, he's just, I don't know. He just has like that caring. He has kind of that passion for the hockey game. He's a character. Obviously, you guys have seen that now.
Oh yeah, he's very funny.
Yeah.
So just character. He's passionate. It's all on his sleeve. And I fell in love with him because more of his bond with his brother. I relate to his bond with his brother. I have a brother with a disability as well. So it's like he's the first hockey player that I've ever been able to be like, yeah, I kind of know what you're going through because I go through the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome to connect like that way.
Yeah, as a play in Nashville, like I think he's been pretty good. Like he's had some bad games. Don't get me wrong. He's let in some soft goals. I think that Vancouver game he played at home was probably one of his best starts of the year. And they said he still lost. Like,
Right.
I think I told you guys this earlier in the season, like when you guys were getting to know him originally. I did say, I'm like, he can give you 25 starts, but you have to start him.
Yeah.
And the Preds haven't been doing that. And
No,
that's where I was frustrated with the Flames, because the Flames did the same thing last year. And I'm like, Kate, you guys, like, he's gonna struggle until you give him a constant, like,
exactly.
You can't go a month with him not playing, because he's a guy that's competitive and he wants to play, and that's all he wants to do. So
that's right.
Yeah. And unfortunately, and I think I've said this a few times, it's like, I think this is not a great spot for Riddick, is what I'm starting to think. I feel like he needs to be with a team that really needs a starting goaltender more, because UC Saros is the workhorse of this team.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no way around it. And really, no matter who the backup was going to be this season, UC Saros is going to be the workhorse no matter what this season. He's just one of those. He's one of those top 5 types of goaltenders in this league that he's going to start almost every game that he's available for, unless it's a back-to-back.
Yeah.
But
I knew that going in. Like when Nashville signed him, I was happy he was out of Toronto. I'm not a big Toronto Maple Leafs fan. Never was. I followed Dave there for the 3 starts he had. After he got traded, after I cried myself to sleep the night he got traded, but that's besides the point. But yeah, I was super happy to see him sign with Nashville, because I was like, okay, this is good. Like, they have a solid, like, starting goaltender, and he's a solid backup. And I think, and then I was like,
I liked it.
Don't know anything. I don't know anything about coaching and stuff, so. I didn't expect John Hines to ride Saros as hard, because I'm like, okay, like, you have a backup goalie that can give you at least 15 games, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved the move at the time. I loved it. I was like, all right, awesome. We're getting a quality backup, because that was a big that was kind of a big storyline over the offseason before they signed David Rittich. It was like, all right, Pekarine's retiring. What are we going to do here? And I loved it at the time. I'm like, David Rittich, he's been a starter in this league. He's done some things. I think he's going to be a great backup. I thought he would have a lot more starts. But we'll see what happens here down the stretch.
Yeah.
But
I think the one thing that did hurt Dave quite a bit was the fact he got COVID right at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, that's tough.
Because I watched most of their preseason, like most of the Preds preseason games, because I'm like, okay, at least Dave will get into those and I can see what he's doing, like see how he's looking, because he had a really off year last year. And even in some of the preseason games, I'm like, yeah, this guy is ready to play. Like he's good. Like he's gonna be good for this team. And then he got COVID, and I think that really didn't.
That did mess it up. Yeah, that didn't help at all.
Well,
but yeah,
bad news, folks.
The Oilers just scored.
The game is tied.
Ooh. All right. That's one of those. All right. That's one of those rare goals where UC Saros lost the puck. I'm just going to be honest. Yeah. I mean, it was a little bit of a pinball style goal, but Saros kind of lost track of that. That's one he definitely wishes he could have back.
Oh, but, it hit like 2 players before it went in.
Yeah. All right. Well, Lindsay, it's been awesome having you.
I have a quick question before I leave.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Please ask.
Okay. So I was thinking about this all week, and I want to know, what do you think, what would be the best series for the Preds hockey-wise? Like, they might not win it, they might not lose it. That is not a rival. They cannot play a rival in the playoffs. But, like, what series would you like to see?
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
I'd like to see them
talking about first
beat up on Arizona.
What?
The easy stuff.
Come on,
the easy.
Rich.
I want the
No. Rich, not easy. It has to be the most entertaining series you can think of. But it can't be a rival. So you can't pick St. Louis. You can't pick
I get what
the
you're saying.
Abs. That's a good question.
I get what you're saying. I would, if I'm thinking right now, that's a really good question.
I'd like to have.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say this is too easy of an answer because we're playing them right now, but a 7-game series with Edmonton would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'd like to see them take another crack at Boston. Because that was actually a good game. That was a really
I thought we were talking
game.
Western Conference, though, Rich. I thought we were talking like first round.
Oh, Western Conference?
Do the Western Conference. Yeah. I was like, I guess you can pick Eastern.
She's talking like first round playoff series. Is how I took it.
I thought it was
I'm thinking,
my bad.
How fun would it be? Think about it though. How fun would it be if the Preds got to knock out the Oilers in the first round of the playoffs?
I would love that.
That'd be a lot of fun.
That would be a good.
That'd be a lot of fun. So that's my answer. That was an easy answer.
I personally think a really entertaining series, and this might sound like I'm being somewhere. I think Nashville versus Flames would be a fun series.
That would be really hard on you, though.
Yeah,
I know it would be hard on me, but I think it would be a fun series because they always play barn burners. Like if you think back to, I know I'm going to get probably yelled at by Nashville fans, but that Halloween game.
I remember that.
The OT winner.
Oh my god!
They always play barn burners.
They do.
And they have 2 great starting goaltenders. Janot would go after Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk would go after Janot. You got Lucic going after. It's like that would be such a fun series. It might be like a barn
2 similar
series.
teams. 2 similar teams that hit hard. That's a good one. That'd be fun to watch. That'd be a fun matchup.
Awesome.
All right, Lindsay. Thank you so much for joining us.
We appreciate you.
Listener appreciation episode would not be complete if you didn't join us tonight. And we really do appreciate you. We love you.
You guys.
We love talking to you every day about the Preds and about all other things. You're a huge friend of the podcast, and we thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys a lot. Thanks for bringing me into this craziness of Nashville hockey this year. I appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right. Have a great night. Go Preds.
All right. Have a good one.
Go Preds.
See you.
Bye.
Bye. So we're going to bring in Justin, man. Justin's waiting in the wings for us, brother.
Justin's like, I want to join.
Justin is here. He is in.
Is that what we're supposed to do?
Yeah,
you're in, man. What's up, dude?
Come on in.
Great to finally meet you. Like in person,
nice
not
you.
in person, but
Yeah.
Not just like text on Twitter.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. How's the mic?
All
Does it
right.
need to be higher or lower?
No,
It's
you're great.
fine.
Sounds good.
The mic's fine. I see that you got the keyboard, or you're so I'm guessing you're a musician.
He is.
Yeah. I do a lot of, I guess, like mostly mixing right now. I'm going to be mixing some people's records coming up soon. I'm trying to get this whole room redone, but that's a whole nother story.
Home studio. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about guitars a little bit here and there.
You know what I've really liked about this listener appreciation episode the most is I'm seeing everyone's different backdrops on their cameras, and it's like you're seeing like all this different backdrops. But you've got the music, theme going for you, Justin. I like it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Pretty soon I'll kind of be like Rich with the guitars. We'll be on the wall in between the acoustic panels.
Yeah, it's really cool. I've got them hanging on all the walls all the way around. So.
I just got those like really like crazy locking ones or whatever. Is that the ones you use?
Yeah. Oh no, they're like they're string swing, I think is what they're called. They're like brown.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
All right. So Justin, how are you feeling about the Preds tonight? How are they looking? Have you gotten a chance to watch this game against the Oilers tonight so far?
Yeah. I have it on right now on my second screen.
How are you feeling?
I think they're doing all right. I wish they took a little less penalties against the Oilers, but
yes,
against everybody.
Preaching to my choir there.
I would love to see Yossi score the winner.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice bet there. I like that. Give me some of that for sure.
I will take that any day of the week.
I actually did bet on that, but not on Draftkings. I'm sorry. I'm testing out MGM this week.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
Draftkings I use all the time, though.
All right. Well, there you go. That's good enough. Then there's more than one. There's plenty of options out there. Oh, what a move by Forsberg. I don't know if you guys are behind me or not, but if you see this move Forsberg just made, he nearly scored another crazy one.
I just saw it.
This game is going back and forth all of a sudden as this second period is about to wind down. End-to-end action right now. Plenty of open ice to skate.
I feel like the Preds always, like, the end of periods is always like this, like, insane last few seconds.
Wow.
Whoa, yeah, this is
that was
the pace of this. The pace of this game is really just kicked up a notch. Sure. I'll tell you, the Oilers are definitely you're talking about two different teams here. As far as the Oilers are a team that isn't performing anywhere close to the expectations they had, whereas the Preds are vastly outperforming their expectations. But what's beautiful about it is the Preds play like the desperate team every game. And I don't want to say desperate in a bad way. I just mean like they play with a chip on their shoulder. They play like they're out there to prove something. Whereas the Oilers, they have every reason to be playing that way because they have flat out been a disappointment so far this season.
Yeah, they are on a two-game win streak right now, but
I feel like they never address the things they need, like goaltending.
Well,
depth.
Yeah.
Instead, they go out and do whatever they did today.
We'll go ahead and bring it up because you can't overlook it. The Oilers are. The writing's been on the wall for a while, but we were waiting for it to be official. Yeah. But it looks like Evander Kane will end up signing with the Oilers after the NHL went through a long process of figuring out if it was going to be done and suspensions and all that stuff. But I just don't understand it. Why would any team really want that distraction and that mess? But you're looking at a team like the Oilers where, they're already a mess. Like they're already a mess. And now I guess it's high risk, high reward type of thing, but that's really what they're going with here is, maybe he does come in and just light it up and he behaves himself, but at what cost for PR purposes and just what does that tell your locker room? Like if I was a player in that locker room, I wouldn't be happy at all about the signing and the distraction that's going to bring. So Yeah, and the
The
fans
people who
too.
are-
Yeah, the fans too.
And all your
Yeah.
stuff and pay you.
Actually,
So
I saw a quick interview today that somebody was interviewing Evander Kane, and apparently Connor McDavid came out and said, we're looking at it, but it might be a good fit for the team. So I don't know. That was kind of different. It was a PR spin by Kane. He was, defending himself, and he did have some good points that, most of it seems like a lot of the stuff people don't know actually what happened, but we just don't know. But as far as the overall perception, it's not good, but who knows?
it
might wind up
signed
working.
him. It would have ruined the whole excitement of this whole season. I feel like if the Preds picked up someone like Kane.
Oh yeah, definitely. Didn't want that at all.
I don't think it would have been good because while they are playing well, they're still. This is relatively young. Getting the team together, it's like a new concept that's still kind of in its infancy, and I think introducing something that could be a distraction would not be good for them. Wouldn't have been good for them. So
I brought a hockey card on for Mike Twitter since he loves
cool.
Arvidsson so much.
Oh
That's
yeah,
his rookie card. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh,
Justin,
nice.
Justin has a huge, massive collection of.
I really do.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
and some really good Preds cards. That's for sure.
So Justin, how are you feeling about the Predators right now? I think we've asked everyone this so far. What I know you commented, you said second round is their ceiling. You feel good about that, but
I wasn't one of those people at the start of the season that was agreeing with all the articles coming out and ranking everything prediction wise. I was definitely one of those people thinking that the Preds could have I thought it was gonna be a wild card fight all season for them personally. Yeah. I never thought it was gonna be a tank season. How can you tank when you have Saros and Yossi,
right?
And someone like Forsberg who can light up right. I guess now it's consistent, but periodically beforehand, right? But then Duchesne wakes up, and then you have Joey playing decent now. It's everything's firing on all cylinders. The rookies that come in are now filling in well. Jeannot's getting Calder buzz. It's crazy.
Well, how about and also you mentioned Duchesne finally woke up and is producing, and you brought up Ryan Johansson, of course. But what about Mikael Granlund? Even he was kind of a wild card.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I always forget about him. I don't know why, but he assists everything.
Let's think about it. Once again, he tested free agency, and somehow the Preds figure out a way to bring him back again. I mean, he was basically gone. Everyone reported it. Even Adam Vinian, who is always on top of all the Preds reporting, even said that Granlund is basically gone. And then an hour later, it's being reported that he's signing with the Predators. It was just crazy.
It was crazy.
That was a good signing, though.
I mean,
I did think we were going to lose everyone.
I mean, where is this I mean, it's a very fair question. Where is this Predators team at right now if they don't re-sign Mikael Granlund? I mean, you don't have the Granlund Duchesne Forsberg line.
No.
I mean, there's your answer right there. I mean,
I will say if any of the players that we just mentioned, Duchesne, Johansson, Granlund, any of those guys don't have the season they're having, it's a different conversation. I mean, it's just all coming together.
Well, I mean,
really
and you can say that about almost every team if their top line's not having that season. But I get, but Granlund in particular, I was thinking about this the other day. I'm hindsight 2020, if he does not re-sign with his team, he is such a vital piece of that top six when it comes to distributing the puck, when it comes to setting up his line mates. If he's not, who's in that role? If he's not on this team, I mean, it's really hard to figure it out. I
really don't know.
It's probably Grimaldi, honestly.
Kind of clogged.
I actually
really
think I'm going to tell you right now, if Mikael Granlund's not on this team, hypothetically speaking, Rocco Grimaldi is still on the Predators right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so. They
would
have had to go out and
well, to Grimaldi's credit, he's having a good year, and ever since he went down to the Admirals, he's been playing better. But what were you about to say, Rich?
Oh, I was just gonna say they would have had to have gone out and got somebody probably, because I don't think I like Rocco Grimaldi, but I don't think he would have been
No.
of handling that situation. But yeah.
Maybe Tomasino's finally top 6 if Granny's not here, like all season.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I mean, it's really hard. It's really hard to know.
I kind of this might be a hot take, but I kind of like this early NHL experience for Tomasino being like 4th line. Every time you get on, you go balls to the wall and try to like make a thing happen type like experience versus just like, all right, whatever, you're top 6 guy, you'll figure it out. Just be comfortable there. You're going to play all night long. I don't know. To me, it feels like I feel like he gets on and you would have like a boost as like a young player. Like, I got to show him. I got to do something.
And it's like he's kind of easing into it a little bit with not top 6 expectations, I guess. So I think that's good for him as well.
He's also probably getting hit a lot more too, with more aggression coming towards him since it's the 4th line.
That's true. Yep.
Have you guys seen that Alex Daughtry, or I forgot how to say his name, his recent like article he wrote about like how teams respond when Yossi's on the ice?
Oh, I didn't get a chance to read. I saw the headline. I didn't have a chance to read it. Tell us about it, because I thought that sounded like a really interesting article.
Cool. He like took a bunch of screenshots from the Seattle game, and he was showing like when Boro and Benning and Ekholm and all them were on the ice, how Seattle was attacking the Predators, and they were like aggressive forecheck, super aggressive, like pushing in, like even like their D-men were like falling like towards the dots when attacking. And when Yossi was on the ice, they were all back. No aggressive forecheck from Seattle. Just gave Yossi all his space, and they were like playing to him. Like how like So gotcha. It's a really cool article. I would go check it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Oh, Alex always puts out good stuff. I mean, he's really one of the best Preds writers out there locally. So I'll have to check that out for sure.
Definitely.
To answer Lindsay's question, I would have picked probably Preds Flames. I think that would be fun, actually.
Preds Flames.
Yeah.
She sold me on that one. She sold me on that one. She said Preds Flames. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
That was good.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right, Justin, it's been awesome, man. Yeah, it's been awesome.
We appreciate it.
We'll talk to you later this week, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Take it easy.
You too.
All right. Guess who's up next?
That was awesome.
Guess who's up next? It is our best buddy.
Hello,
best
friends.
Buddy ever. Hello, friend.
What's up, boys?
What's up, Kyle?
What's up, man?
Not a whole lot. I have been sneakily trying to watch this game while watching a show with the fiance.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. It's really hard to watch something along with hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially something that's not really a that's a show. Hi, Lindsay. That's a show we're watching Yellowstone. So
that's good.
That's something you can't casually watch. So
no,
nor with the children in the room.
No,
I'm at season 3. I've only made it to season 3, so no spoiler alerts from you, Kyle.
See, I'm. What's up, Justin? And I'm right there along with you. So I think we're just now finishing season 2. I think the one we just watched was season 2 finale.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's a good show. Really good show.
So I saw where Duchesne and Forsberg were doing Duchesne and Forsberg things, though.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
They are. They definitely are doing those types of things. That move that Forsberg made, if that ends up as a goal, it's maybe goal of the year. Like, I mean, he got hit. Dude, he got hit from behind right at the end, but that stick handling to get free himself up. Oh my gosh.
He's on another level at the moment. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's going to get a paycheck.
Yes, he is.
Let's just
Lindsay
pay
says
him now.
Yeah. Lindsay
Can we
says
just
she
pay
needs
him?
to get to Nashville.
Can we just pay Philip now so we can stop obsessing over it? Like, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Just go ahead and pay him.
But yeah, so we got a goal tonight from Forsberg's 22nd, and we've got a goal from Duchesne, his 21st. So what did we talk about last time Kyle was on? I guess it was Monday. We talked about it's going to be fun to watch Forsberg and Duchesne race to see who ends up with the most goals. And what do you know? Did they both score on? I think they both scored against Seattle too, didn't they? They did. Yeah, so they did. Yeah. So since our last episode when we talked about that, both Forsberg and Duchesne have scored a goal in each of the two games. So that race continues.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Legolas and Gimli, but I don't know which one you'd call which. I guess Forsberg's going to have to be Gimli because of all the facial hair.
Oh, that makes sense.
Well, I'm pretty sure Justin said I would like to see a Roman Yossi game winner. So let's just go with with Justin. Let's go with Justin's prediction that Roman Yossi is going to sink the game winner. I'm totally okay with that. Let's just let that happen.
Yoss is due one, so
he is due one. He's been a little. I mean, he hasn't been quiet, but he's due for a big goal. He hasn't scored a big goal in a while.
Yeah.
That's right.
I do think if this goes to a shootout, we've got it kind of whooped. I don't think Koskinen could hold up.
Yeah, if Saros can stop the onslaught of McJesus, then we'd be all right.
I mean,
that's the only bad part.
Well, the
goal they're showing the highlight right now, that was such a fluky goal.
Yeah,
that bouncing puck that went in.
Yeah, it hit Cousins' stick and then bounced off somebody else. So there it was right there. So it hit Cousins' stick. And
the downside of tonight is the Oilers or the Preds are 0 for 3 on the power play.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
How have they been on the kill?
They're 2 for 2, which I mean a lot against the Oilers.
Yeah,
not bad. It's been a pretty even game. I feel like. I mean, it's been back and forth. Both teams have traded opportunities for sure. I mean, it's been back and forth. You know, like.
It seemed like from what I said, I had it like laying on my lap so I wouldn't get in trouble.
And this is one of those. This is another one of those games where I call it a measuring stick game for the Predators. I know the Oilers have been struggling like crazy lately, and their fans are freaking out probably up there, and all this craziness is going on with that franchise. But you still got to understand that this roster is loaded with talent, especially on the top end. And the Predators are showing once again, hey, we can hang with, we can hang with every Stanley Cup contending team out there. We can hang with you. So through the first 2 periods, they've shown that.
Yeah.
So let me get y'all's opinion. If you were a second, third line guy on Edmonton right now, and this Evander Kane nonsense comes out, how would that make you feel?
I already said I'd be pissed. I wouldn't like it.
Oh, it's like, am I so bad that you have to go get this guy that literally is a horrible, horrible human being?
Yeah.
That shows zero remorse for anything he's ever done. And I mean, I would be livid if I was one of the second or third line guys in Edmonton. It would just.
Yeah.
Well, and they're going to be answering questions about it for like the rest of the season too. And it's like, it's a huge distraction. And like you said, Kyle, from that perspective, it really is an indictment on those second and third line players. Like from the front office, like, yeah, we felt the need to go out and sign this distraction because we don't believe in you.
Yeah. God forbid they spend anything on a goalie ever.
Right. I think some of it's like they went through a really, really bad stretch, and they were probably just looking for anything
But this has been tied up. This whole thing has been tied up for a few weeks now.
It
though.
has.
Like, I mean,
that was when they were right in the middle. Well, toward the tail end of their huge losing streak. So
yeah, the Oilers have been tied to Kane for like a few weeks now. I mean, like they've all been like saying like, oh, it's going to happen. We just have to wait for all the, the NHL has to do their homework and everything. But like,
So what you're saying is it's like when you've been drinking a little bit to excess and you have a really terrible idea and then you get about halfway sobered back up and you still continue with your terrible idea.
Well, I guess that's the Oilers. I guess that's what they did.
I mean, that's exactly what it sounds like to me. There's no rhyme or reason. I understand he's got talent, but he's going to hurt your locker room.
I called it extremely, extremely high risk with the slightest razor thin potential of being a high reward.
Yeah.
Even if he does give you a high reward, I mean, what's it all worth? I mean, I don't think he's going to just magically propel them out of their problems. As you said, Kyle, with their goaltending problems, like it doesn't make sense to me at all. Yeah. To take that risk, make that move for your locker room.
I'm surprised they could afford to pay him after paying those other two guys so much money.
Ain't that it? Another thing, you look at Connor McDavid. Is he arguably the best player in the NHL right now? I don't even.
There's a really good argument for Leon Draisaitl that I've read from a few people.
Yeah,
where they're like,
comparable, I guess.
Yeah. Either way, they're skill-wise, they are two of the best players in this league. As leaders, who on Edmonton is a leader? I don't really see Connor McDavid as a guy that's going to lead people. He's just the talent and the face of the team.
I think that's probably a good assessment. It doesn't seem like he would be.
I don't see Connor McDavid going out and rallying the troops.
Yeah. I mean, even you see him a lot. Like even when he scores, I mean, he's obviously happy, but he's not really like excited a lot. He's real even keel, I guess. Maybe
the
it's
Oilers,
just not in his nature. So
the Oilers really feel like a team that has a disjointed locker room, like a locker room that's just not together at all. They have all the talent to win a cup, but man, that locker room, they're the exact opposite when it comes to locker room chemistry. I almost feel like they're the opposite of the Predators.
I would agree with that.
And now they're introducing something that might not help that. So,
because you see all the pictures of like that the Predators post of off ice stuff, getting on the plane, etc. What else? You don't have clicks. There's not Duchesne and Forsberg being your high-end guys and Johansson being a high-end guy. They're not always in a bunch with just those guys. You've got Forsberg sitting with Jeannot on the plane, and Johansson has got everybody and their mama at his house to play golf.
Right. Oh yeah, definitely.
And I agree with Lindsay what she just said. How long until McDavid asked for a trade? And 2 years. I think he stays 2 more years, and he's like, if they don't do something, get me out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to think behind closed doors, he wants to get out of there. He's not going to say it. He's not going to say it out loud, but
yeah.
You got to think he would like to go to a team that has an established captain where he doesn't even have to worry about that. He can just go out and be the best player on the ice.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
All
right, Kyle, I got to ask you, man. Do you think that the Predators are really like? Do you think we should take them seriously finally, like as far as maybe even being in the mix for even a top 3 division spot, like at the end of the season? Like we don't even have to think about the wild card and all that. Let's just focus on finishing top 3 and, and all that good stuff.
Can they keep up this pace?
Yeah.
I mean, they've done it for the better part of an entire season right now, if you look back to last year. And they're a better team right now than they were at any point during last year. So
that's a good point.
So if they just keep doing what they're doing, honestly, I haven't really seen a game recently where going into it, it's like they're going to get lit up.
Yeah.
I think they can play legitimately with anybody. If they show up and play to John Hines' favorite word, identity, if they play to their identity, then they can play with anybody in the league.
Well, what's crazy? Some of their worst games recently have been against bad teams.
Yeah,
they play. I was talking to Justin Bradford earlier today, and we were talking about the Stadium Series, and I was saying, I've been kind of on a lucky streak the last couple of games that I went and watched in person, and we were talking about it, and we brought that up that here lately, every time they play a good team, they play up and play competitive with that good team. But if they're playing a bad team, they don't know what to do. They can't lace their skates against the bad team.
Yeah.
But so thankfully they're playing a good team in Tampa outdoors, so maybe they'll play up to them, and it will hopefully be a good game.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle.
I agree with that 100%.
Kyle, we're going to let you go here. We got Mike Twitter going to join us next. We appreciate you hopping in for the listener appreciation episode. You will be back Monday, of course, for Perks Picks and another good episode on Monday. Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank y'all, boys. Happy 100th.
Have a good weekend.
Later,
hey, get
boys.
back to Yellowstone. Get back to Yellowstone.
Go watch your show.
I will.
Don't get in trouble.
I don't know. This game's pretty good. I might get in trouble over this one.
Yeah,
Yellowstone's pretty good too, though.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
All
right. Later, boys.
All right.
Have a good one, man. See ya. All right. Here is our good friend Mike Twitter. There he is.
Oh, this is cool. Hey guys.
Oh, he's got the Giants hat on. I'm a Giants fan too.
That's awesome.
Had to do it. And that's pretty
awesome.
cool,
Mike
man.
Twitter,
We got that in common.
When I found out that Mike Twitter was a Giants fan, I was like, I knew me and him would be friends. Because are you in California? Are you in the Bay Area?
I live in New Jersey. I'm New Jersey based, yeah.
Okay, so I'm one of the very few San Francisco Giants fans you'll ever see in Tennessee. And I can't imagine there's that many Giants fans in New Jersey either.
No, but I'm a generational Giant fan where my grandfather was a New York Giants fan and he passed it to my dad.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So that's kind of how I am. And I will occasionally, come across a few people like that. There are a lot of transplants from San Francisco who have moved to because I live in the New York City area. So
gotcha.
There was a bar in New York that I used to go to where it was a Giants bar. It was really awesome.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
so
cool.
I did develop a little group of friends of Giants fans out here.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Lindsay says, hey. Justin says, hey.
So,
I brought on for Justin. I got him back here. So these are my two.
Oh, that's right.
That's my Victor Arvidsson, and that's my Victor Arvidsson.
Oh, those are
nice.
sweet.
And then I got a friend in Nashville who sent me this of Arvidsson right here. So
Oh, that's cool.
pretty much my collection.
Bobbleheads. Hell yeah.
Yeah, there he is.
That's cool.
Nice.
Very cool.
And I'm like a newer hockey fan, so I don't have that's kind of the extent of my collection there.
Yeah.
So let's tell everyone, Mike Twitter has been a supporter of the podcast since the very beginning.
Day one.
So we really appreciate you joining us tonight because we can't thank you enough for joining in all the streams, leaving all your comments, getting in on the conversation. It's what makes the podcast possible. So we really appreciate you.
Definitely.
Oh, I love it, man. No, I was trying to think of the story of how I stumbled across it anyway, how I found it. I really don't know. I think I went into Apple Podcasts and just searched his Preds because, like I said, I'm a newer fan, so I kind of wanted to get on board with listening. And I think that's just how I found it. And
well, that's awesome.
I don't know if he's still listening. Colin Bloom was a good part of the show too.
Yes, he was. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, Colin had just got really busy with his personal stuff, and he's doing a lot of awesome things with college universities and stuff and leadership, and so he just didn't have time to do the podcast anymore. But yeah, Colin Bluen was a big part of the early success of the podcast as well. So awesome. Yeah. So let's ask you, Mike, right off we're asking everyone this. How are you feeling about this year's Predators team? Are you feeling pretty good about them? Is your confidence growing in them? What's your expectations right now?
I mean, coming into the this past offseason, I was the same as you, Chad. Like, my favorite player got traded. I expect that, whatever. Ryan Ellis, even Yarncroke was awesome, so losing him. And then Pecorine. So that was a bummer coming into the season, because it's not like we replaced them with anything spectacular that you were pumped about. So it's kind of just like, hope it's watchable hockey, and stuff like that. And it's like beyond watchable now. It's like must see TV, That Linda Cohn interview the other day. I mean, the way she painted the Preds, she watches every Preds. She has to watch every game. The way she highlighted each player, it's like, and so if she's doing that, the whole hockey world is kind of up on that.
Yeah. It's good. It's good to see them getting some recognition. Actually,
that's for sure.
That's what's one of the best things is like, in years past, you never heard them talk about UC Saros, or you would have never heard them talk about a Tanner Janot or whatever. So it's really awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So are you getting a chance to watch this Preds Oilers game tonight, Mike?
I got it on. Yeah, I'm watching right now. It's in front of me.
So it's been a pretty close game. They've been going toe to toe with Connor McDavid and company.
They have, and this is kind of like the thing where you say, do you get pumped about the Preds? These are the games that win to keep you pumped. It's if they lose this game, they're losing against a contender. They got to beat the teams. Which this is the first year they've really been doing it in a while, where they're beating the teams they should be beating, which is awesome. But then you got to elevate and beat these teams, these entire teams,
Yeah. And they're trying to get a little revenge tonight because the last time they played the Oilers in November, it was a 5-2 loss. So, it's one of those. These are one of those teams that you expect to play in the playoffs, possibly. So you got to show that you can play with these types of teams.
Lindsay says the Preds are 13-2-3 in 1-goal games. So that's good.
Good stat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another stat that I saw that's kind of around the same neighborhood as that was the ESPN broadcast shared this. The Preds haven't lost any games this season in regulation when leading after 2 periods.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
I think they have 1 overtime loss, and they've won every other game they've been leading after 2 periods, which is just, that's insane right there. That's a big stat.
And that kind of tributes to what Rich said earlier about how I really agreed with him totally, where I forget someone brought it up to Rich, and he said that wasn't happening in the past about when you're down, you're not coming back from those, those 2019, 2018.
Oh yeah.
When you're down 2 goals, turn off. Nothing's going to happen. But now they're like, they fight upwards. So now they, a game like this, you kind of have that confidence, you have that.
Yeah. They would be down. And then in the third period, they'd fight for about 10 minutes and then still just wasn't enough. So you don't see that anymore or very rarely now. So it's awesome.
It's upward now. It's all upward. It's kind of like, from the start, it just gets higher, where in the, the past years, it'd be like, kind of like, that, and then kind of
it's kind of crazy how your thoughts change about this team so quick. Like, like just 2 seasons ago, if the team's down 2 goals, you're like ready to turn the game off. But this season, when they're down 2 goals, you're like, I'm going to keep this game on. I think they can come back.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's how they play. It's a credit to their style. It's a credit to John Hines and the team that he's really the reputation that this team has built under John Hines. I mean, you really never feel like they're out of a game.
And
the players, not the star. It's not the star players. It's not going to be a all the time. It's not going to be Forsberg. Everyone loves to know, of course, and rightfully so. A guy like him could be putting it in. Trennan, man, I love Trennan.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll always go back to that Tomasino goal versus the Rangers. That highlight that as one of the key games of the season. And I agree. That was just
Oh yeah,
we
that
felt
was a good
so
goal.
good after that victory, man. And I'm up here in New York area, so like my dad's a Ranger fan, my brother's a Ranger fan.
Oh wow.
Felt good a little bit, like getting that win.
Yeah,
1-0.
I'm sure it did.
Right.
So let me ask you. I don't think I remember exactly how you became a Predators fan. Tell us about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I'll say early 90s. I was liking the Devils and the Rangers were big up here. 93, 94, 95, Devils and Rangers. And I had a I had a friend at the time, childhood friend, who was a hockey player, played all that. And then he went to a Catholic school to play hockey. And I kind of lost touch with him, I kind of just drifted out of hockey. I just stopped watching hockey, and I didn't watch it for a long time. And, I would go to a game here or there, a Ranger game. I have a Pavel Bure Rangers jersey that I wear because I like that 94 Cup. I like speed, so that's how I like Arvidsson. I like speed. Fedorov, those guys, those kind of guys.
Oh, yeah.
And then I just started watching hockey again in 2017, the Cup run year. And I'm not going to say like I jumped on with the Cup or whatever, because I was just watching hockey. And, I enjoyed them. I enjoyed the Minnesota Wild. I enjoyed even the Winnipeg. So I liked all teams in our division there. I liked all these teams.
Okay.
And then the following year, I just kind of, of course, with the Preds being, what they were, I got to watch more Preds games, and more Preds games were on and all that. And that's kind of just how I locked in. I have a friend who lives in Hendersonville, Nashville too.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I would go down and visit him sometimes, and they're all on the Preds. So
That's where I
he's like
grew
my
up.
connect. He's actually the guy who sent me the bobblehead. And
That's cool.
I grew up in Hendersonville. So small world, man. I grew up in Hendersonville.
Awesome. Yeah, so I've stayed there. I've spent time in Hendersonville, so we've maybe crossed paths. You never know.
There you go. Yeah, we were probably drinking a beer next to each other and didn't even know it.
Never even knew it.
But
he did a lot of stuff, a lot of good restaurants.
So you and Rich became Preds fans around the same time, because Rich, you kind of adopted the team around what, 2019, 18?
The 18 end of right at the trade deadline of 2018-19. Yeah.
Okay.
So
there you go.
Yep.
Okay.
And stuck with them through the thick and thin of
yeah, man.
Some ups and downs.
I tell people I'm a New York Jets fan for football, and
oh my gosh,
the Preds have jumped across on on my radar. It's like the San Francisco Giants are number one; they'll always be number one.
Yeah,
Preds are number two, and then the Jets are slipping.
If you're a New York Jets fan, then no one can ever question your loyalty to your sports teams.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Jets fans have been through so much. They're like Jets fans and Browns fans in football.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and I think Seattle Mariners for baseball. I mean, they're the next longest streak with no playoffs. That's.
But hey, all right. So me and you are linked to two teams now: the Preds and the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah.
And
you got another one. Justin says he's a Jets fan.
Oh,
there you go.
There we go.
Nice.
There you go.
We all got some like teams other than the Predators. But yeah, the Giants. The Giants had a good season last year, Mike Twitter.
That was fun. That's another one. It's the same thing as the Preds, similar. Chad,
they played way better.
Yeah,
exactly. You love these types of seasons where your team plays better than you thought they were going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, it's been great talking to you, Mike. You are definitely you're welcome back anytime. Of course, I know we'll talk to you. I know we'll talk to you again in the chat on future episodes. So take care up there. Thanks for joining. Go Preds.
And I'll have one thing to say if I can. I met a guy
at
the Devils game. It was a month ago in December. It was one Preds fan in this bar after the game. He was wearing a Shea Weber jersey. We were talking. I introduced him to the podcast. He subscribed right there. So if he's listening, I just want to say what's up to that guy. He told me some cool stories and stuff, and he was talking about how he used to bring deers and feed his college roommates and stuff with a deer that he killed. It was just crazy stuff. I hope he's listening. And
that's awesome.
Thanks, Mike. Take it easy. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
Have a good one, man.
See you next time.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
I think that rounds out our listeners there.
Is that it? All right.
I think so, man. That was awesome, man. That was some really good conversations we've had with everyone tonight.
It's so good.
What's
everybody.
It's what it's all about, I mean, we just be two weird guys sitting in our houses talking about the Preds to each other if we didn't have
you got that right.
These awesome listeners that join us.
You got that right. Yeah.
So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight for episode 100 of the listener appreciation episode. we'll bring you all on in the future. This doesn't have to be a one episode thing at all. We love having you on. We've got under 10 minutes left in the third period between the Predators and the Oilers, and it's tied 2-2. The Oilers have almost doubled up the shot total. They're up 40-22. So what do you know? UC Saros is most likely going to have another 40 save performance.
It's just his thing now, apparently. It's his thing. That's what he does.
And yet somehow he's still only 5th in the Vezina Trophy voting, according to NHL voters.
Yep. So they just showed on the screen faced 37 shots per game in his last 13 starts.
I mean, I don't even know what to say about that.
I know it's kind of ridiculous a little bit if you think about it, but it's just the way the team's built. So,
but that's exactly why UC Saros is such an. I mean, that's why we say he could actually be considered a MVP candidate in some ways.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely. The way he plays, that's for sure.
So let's go ahead and get into our battle for the Central Power Rankings now, because we still got to do that because it is Monday. We will do our power rankings as this third period winds down and we watch the Predators. Ooh, Matt Benning just took a really nasty hit.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, right in front of the net. All right, so do we still have the Coyotes at number 8, Rich?
Absolutely.
I ask this every Monday, like it's going to change.
Absolutely.
Did you see where the Coyotes might be playing in Arizona State's arena, which only holds 5,000 people?
I saw a picture of that, and I wasn't sure what was going on with it. Why are they playing there? Why are they doing that?
The whole arena dispute thing and where they're going to play, they can't figure it out where they're going to be next season. Man. And so it looks like they're going to have multiple places they have to play at.
5,000 feet arena.
And one of the places is this Arizona State University hockey arena that holds only 5,000 people. And honestly, the jokes write themselves because people said they can't even fill up a 5,000 seat arena with their fans. I'm like, that's hitting low blow right there. That's a low blow.
That is. You got to feel for those fans, though. I mean, that's just tough. That's so tough. But,
well, I mean, if you really think they're moving eventually, because everyone's trying to say they might just relocate. I mean,
like out of state, yeah.
I mean, I don't even know. I really don't know how this ends for that franchise. I know that Gary Bettman's come out and said that he is committed to the Arizona Coyotes staying in Arizona.
Yeah,
but do we ever really believe anything that Gary Bettman says? I don't.
It's hard. So it's hard to. Yeah. Somebody, the general manager said that they would trade Phil Kessel for a 2nd-round pick. That's all it would take to get him.
I would give up a 2nd-round pick for Phil Kessel.
Yeah. You got to take on that money. He makes a lot of money. Well, cap hit anyway.
But have you not learned anything from Puckpedia? The Preds have a lot of money, Rich.
They sure do.
And they got to spend it somehow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
We'll save that. We'll save that for another night. All right.
Yeah,
so the Coyotes are still firmly our number 8 team in the power rankings. They only have 24 points. They're 10, 27, and 4. They have been playing a little bit better, but they dug themselves such a deep hole to open the season that they're just not going to climb out of it.
No.
That's kind of where they're at. They're now down to a negative 66 goal differential.
Oh my gosh.
On the season.
That is so brutal. That is brutal.
You got the Canadians are minus 65, so
brutal as well.
They're both equally terrible.
Yeah.
But
bad.
All right, so that's number 8.
Speaking of terrible, bring up number 7.
Are we firmly with the Blackhawks at number 7? Because I'm telling you, Winnipeg is starting to really crash.
I noticed that. I looked this up.
I'm throwing people a curveball this week. I got the Jets at number 7.
All right. There you go. Well, I still have Chicago, but you're right about Winnipeg. So I looked it up. They haven't won a game since January 13th.
Winnipeg hasn't won a game since January 13th.
Yep.
How many games have they lost in a row?
I don't remember
because they've missed so many games. Like they've
They
had
did
so
miss a
many.
lot. Yeah,
But they really are. They look terrible. Like they looked
did.
bad against the Preds when the Preds beat them. They looked really bad.
Yeah. They're imploding.
They are not looking good at all. And
Yeah.
and honestly, there's no reason for them to be playing this bad because they've got talent.
Right.
They've
They
got
do.
Connor Hellebuck in net. They've got Kyle Connor, of course. They've got some decent players. So
Yeah.
they shouldn't be this bad. I put them at number 7 because I'm just not impressed with them. And I think the Blackhawks are one of those teams that can play the spoiler alert down the stretch. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they're definitely a team that I feel like can spoil some playoff runs for some other teams.
That's true. Yeah.
Because you've got some of their players are actually starting to play better, and they're starting to find their footing just a little bit. They're only 2 points behind Winnipeg, and they're only 7 points behind Dallas in the division.
Yeah.
So they're not that far back from moving up a little bit.
No,
So
that's true.
just to go to show everybody that I am objective on this podcast, because everyone knows I hate the Blackhawks.
You don't put them in 7th
I moved them up to number 6 this week, just to show everybody I'm objective.
Yeah. Well, I left them at 7, but you're right. Winnipeg's pretty bad. So Chicago is they had 3 losses and a win since we last did the rankings, and they're playing Colorado tomorrow night. So that's probably not going to go well, but you never know. You never know. Any of these guys can beat the others on any given night, but odds are not in their favor. So
number 5, I don't know how you're going to go with this, Rich. I got number 5. I've got Dallas.
Yeah,
they're also number 5 in the division right now. I got Dallas at number 5. They are one of the hardest teams in hockey to figure out. You just never know what you're going to get out of them from night to night. Some nights they look like a really good playoff team that you don't want to face, and then there's other nights where they just look horrible. They barely beat Buffalo the other night. They're very helter-skelter. You just don't know what to expect from the Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
So I got them at number 5. That's a pretty fair ranking for them.
Yeah. I have them at 5 too. They're on a little 4-game win streak right now, actually, but the wins are against Buffalo, Detroit, Philadelphia, and New Jersey. So
they're taking advantage of a soft part of their schedule.
They are. Yeah. So they could move up. You never know. We'll see.
You just really never know what you're going to get out of them, though. They're so hard to sometimes a part of me wants to knock the Stars all the way back to number 7, and then a part of me wants to put the Stars at number 4. I really don't know. I really don't know what to think about this Stars team. They're just all over the place.
Yeah, when we talk about the number 4 team, I'm assuming. Well, I have Minnesota at number 4, but like you said, Dallas, you could almost interchange those because Minnesota has only played 3 games since last week. So they beat Chicago twice and Montreal. So, they're 4th in standings, but
I'm shaking up the rankings this week, Rich.
Oh, you doing it? Okay. All right.
I'm putting St. Louis at number 4.
All right. Wow.
And all these teams are so clustered together that just because I'm putting St. Louis at number 4 doesn't mean that I think they're a terrible team. It just means that this is how competitive the Central Division is.
Yeah.
But I've got St. Louis at number 4 because they are another team that I think they are hard for me to trust when it comes down to the very end and all these games start evening out in the standings. Mm-hmm. And I do realize that the Preds just lost to the Blues, not recently, but the season series is tied 1-1 between the two teams.
Yeah.
And the Preds played a really good first game against the Blues and beat them. So, and that was the first loss the Preds had against the Blues head to head in over 2 years.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
So don't talk to me about head-to-head series, head-to-head advantage when it comes to Preds versus Blues, because the Preds still have that head-to-head advantage, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I got the Blues at number 4, but it's close.
Yeah. Well, I had Minnesota at number 4. I left St. Louis at number 3. The note that I wrote speaks to exactly what you said. They're hot and cold. They beat Vancouver and then got destroyed by Calgary 7-1. So they took a beating that night. So,
Yeah.
I left them in 3, I guess just out of respect of where they're at in the standings. But, 3, Minnesota and St. Louis are kind of interchangeable in my opinion at the moment. So
They are. Well, I do got to say that the Blues did beat the Flames tonight 5-1 to rectify their 7-1 loss against the Flames on Monday.
There you go. That's quite the
turnaround.
Right there.
That's what you call revenge right there. You lose 7-1 and then you turn around and beat that same team 5-1.
Yep, absolutely.
I've got Minnesota at number 3. They've played the fewest games in the division. They've only played 38 games.
Good point.
And they've still got 53 points. They're a plus 34 goal differential, and they're second in the division in point percentage. They only trail Colorado.
All right. Yep.
I got them at number 3, and they're another team that has a lot of superstars, a lot of good scoring players. We know about Kaprizov, but we know about Ryan Hartman.
Mm-hmm.
We know about a lot of they got a lot of really good scoring players on that team that can really do some damage once they get into the playoffs and down this stretch. Again, they've only played 38 games this season.
That's crazy.
We're doing our midseason player awards, and
they're nowhere near that.
The Wild are still 3 games short of being at the halfway point.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So they're number 3 for me. I've got the Preds at number 2. I'm sure you got the Preds at number 2 as well.
Yeah. How could you? Yeah, there's no way you could move them anywhere other than that, really. Yeah, I mean, big, huge comeback after the losing streak they had going on. So tight game tonight too. So looks like they might be getting back on track, hopefully. So yeah, I think that's a good spot for them.
Yeah, number 2 for the Preds.
And then, of course,
yeah, I mean, Colorado's just running away with it.
Mighty juggernaut that is Colorado.
Team, I mean, they just every night when I check the scores, they win. They just figure out a way. Even if they were losing, they still figure out a way to win.
Yep.
It's like the team is just doing exactly what everyone thought they would do.
Yep.
They started off slow. The COVID restrictions kind of messed things up for them because their roster got broken up, but every team had to deal with that. Yep. I'm about to blow your mind, Rich.
What is that?
You ready for this?
I am.
The Avalanche. You want to know the last team the Avalanche lost to that wasn't the Preds and when this was?
No. Yeah, who is it?
So they lost to the Preds on January 11th. That was their last loss. So they've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've won 8 in a row since they lost to the Preds in that big heavyweight crazy matchup.
Longest winning streak right now.
Yes. Before that loss to the Preds on January 11th, they had won another 5 in a row. Then you had the COVID pause.
Yep.
So the last time the Avalanche lost to a team that's not named the Nashville Predators was on December 4th against the Ottawa Senators.
That is insane. That is crazy. That's 2 months. That's two losses in 2 months. That's
into the same team.
That's crazy. Yeah,
They are just running through everybody right now.
They're the juggernaut of the NHL. That's for sure.
And so you want to talk about a statement win that the Predators got when they got that 5-4 win on January 11th. That's about as big of a statement win as you can put up.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fact that this team has only lost one time since.
Here's our friend Ian.
December 4th. They haven't lost to anybody.
That's crazy. Our friend Ian says the Avs are on fire, and it's crazy. It is.
What's up, Ian? Ian connected with us on Twitter, said he wanted to join at the end of the episode. He ended up getting in. What's up, Ian? Welcome to Catfish on Ice. Thank you for commenting and joining the podcast on YouTube. We appreciate it, man.
Yes, definitely. So
that's why that blows your mind, though, doesn't it, Rich? I mean, that doesn't
it absolutely does. I didn't even go back that far. I just went looked in January, 1 loss in January. And the whole month of January that's just amazing. But when you put it into perspective, 2 losses in December and January it's crazy.
And really, the other loss they lost to the Predators was that crazy COVID game where both teams were missing a ton of players. So really, you can't really hold that against the Avalanche.
No.
So it's like, I mean, it's just insane the hot streak they're on. So of course they're the number 1 team. If we were doing a full NHL power rankings, they would be my number 1 team.
They absolutely would. Yeah. We said it too. We always said that they'd get it figured out, and boy did they. They have definitely figured out the issues that they were having.
I don't know if you're seeing what just happened, but Carrier is giving everything he has in him to handle Connor McDavid right now.
Oh, McDavid just shoved him down.
He is putting up a really commendable defensive showing to try to fend off Connor McDavid. Stick taps for Alex Carrier for doing what he can to handle McDavid.
He didn't even have a stick. Like he was.
I might need to change my grade for Carrier. What did I give him? Because that was impressive. I gave him a B+. He's earning that B+ by what he just showed me against McDavid there defensively. I might even have to bump him up to an A, seeing him do what he's doing against McDavid there.
I gave him an A.
So we're going to overtime.
Yeah, looks like it. There's a point.
And
we'll take the point.
Hey, don't be thinking about just getting a point, Rich. Hey, we're going for that extra point.
We want both, obviously, but one is still better than none. So
Saros is officially at 40 saves now, so he's reached that threshold once again.
He's a workhorse, man. I'm telling you.
The Preds were very much up against the ropes to close out that period. The Oilers were giving them all they could handle defensively. As I just said, Carrier was really putting up a really commendable defensive effort on McDavid. You saw Carrier get crashed into Saros on a breakaway into the net. The net got dislodged. The Preds are really grinding this one out, and they, like Rich just said, they've got the 1 point secured. Let's go out and get that second point. It's 4-on-4 now. I don't know if that really benefits the Preds in overtime, that it's going to 4-on-4. I might have to give the slight edge to the Oilers in this situation.
Yeah, we'll see. It just depends. When you give McDavid a lot of open ice, it's not a good thing usually, and he's a really fast skater. So Mike Twitter's getting on me because I said we got a point. He said, I'm the same way when we hit OT and people say we got a point.
Yep.
And then he said, we won it all. I do too. Don't get me wrong. I'm just glad to get anything.
Well, you say that they got Connor McDavid, but guess what? We have Roman Josi, and Roman Josi is also a menace to deal with for defenses in overtime.
Absolutely.
You give a player like Roman Josi extra ice to deal with.
Yep.
So it should be a really entertaining overtime. Two teams who have really elite skaters and goal scorers. So buckle up.
Yep. It's exciting.
By the way, as we get into this overtime, did you see Elvis Merzlikins have to face 62 shots and make 56 saves for the Columbus Blue Jackets the other night?
I heard about that. Yeah. Yeah, I did hear about that.
That's like blows your mind when you see that.
That's insane. That's quite the load. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Blue Jackets are struggling.
UC Saros sees that stat line and he's like, okay, I don't feel so bad.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think the Blue Jackets are really struggling at the moment. They're having a hard time.
Let's look at our poll here. We put up biggest disappointments of the NHL season. Which team is the biggest disappointment? Let's see how that poll question's doing right now. Let's pull it up. We've got 44% say the Oilers are the biggest disappointment. 6% say the Stars. 41% say the Philadelphia Flyers.
That's
and
true.
9% say the Vancouver Canucks. It only gives you 4 choices. There's some other teams you could probably throw in there, like the Winnipeg Jets. You could throw them in there.
Yeah.
But our buddy CJ Wodashek says, I'll add a team not on this list, the Islanders.
He's got a point.
That's a good one. The Islanders are a mess.
Got that
They've
nice,
been a mess
shiny
all
new
season.
building.
Justin Gambino, who's already been on the show tonight, says Flyers spending the offseason fixing their decor and the anticipation of Hart having a bounce back year. I'm just really surprised with how their season is coming together. Oilers fix none of their issues, but expect different results, going about how expected for them. And then Chris Jones on Twitter says, well, the Stars doing poorly is something I would never be disappointed about. Good thing there. Totally agree, Chris Jones, with that comment.
He's got a point.
So good stuff. Thanks for commenting on the poll. I think it's got to be the Oilers, though. If
That's
you're really
what I'm looking for.
I mean, it really does. I mean, they're built to win a cup, and the way they've been playing lately is they just can't figure it out.
Yeah, it's. I kind of compare them to Toronto, even though Toronto's playing pretty good really good this season.
Well, Toronto's
got
problem.
all their money. They got all their money tied up in 2 or 3 guys, and
well, Toronto's problem is they do well, and then they get in the playoffs and lose.
Yeah,
but the Oilers are having a hard time even.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 7th place in their division right now.
Yeah,
in the Pacific.
I wouldn't have thought that.
They are 8 points out of the top 3 spot. And if you look at the wild card, they are 4 points out of the wild card race.
Wow.
So they have really nosedived. And you're talking about a team that has the 2 best players in the world. Not one, but 2.
No. Yeah. Yep, definitely.
And that is malpractice as a GM. To build a team around them that can't even get this squad into a wild card position right now.
It's insane.
Oh, we had a 2-on-1 situation in Colton Sissons. I thought he was going to have an open net, but the puck gets disrupted. Oh, my God. This overtime is literally back and forth.
So I'm not caught up yet, but what I'm seeing is Edmonton is.
Oh,
there it is.
Justin Gambino's prediction almost came right.
He's
Justin, are you watching right now? Your prediction almost came true.
Oh, I'm just
Roman
now.
Josi.
Oh, man.
Did you see it?
No, I saw the Sissons, man. He almost had a wide open net.
Oh, you're about to see Roman Josi's opportunity. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Oh, man.
I thought that was in. I thought Roman Josi was going to finish it off right there. I really did.
He should have did a little toe drag.
This overtime has been, I mean, it's like literally back and forth. Like
it's been a really good game. These are the kind of games that you want to see. Nice, good, competitive, back and forth.
These are the kind of games that build new hockey fans. If you're trying to get someone to become a new hockey fan, show them this game.
Absolutely. Get this face off, boys.
Don't show them the Detroit game on Saturday, because that will push fans away. This is the opposite of the Detroit game.
Yeah. It was a little snoozy.
Oh, man.
It's so close. I'm at a minute. What do you got?
We're right on the same.
Oh, okay. Really?
I think I'm still ahead of you, though.
Oh, okay.
They're about to drop the puck here. There's a minute left in overtime. All right. Preds win the faceoff here. Let's see if they can hold possession and not give the Oilers any more chances.
No more chances. Here you go. Ian said, I'm wide awake now. Yes, absolutely.
This is If you're just coming in to catch this part of the game, you picked the perfect time to jump in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
To catch you up, Ian, it's been a very even game. Both teams have gone toe-to-toe, traded. I got to say, for normal reputation of the Preds, it hasn't been that physical of a game.
No, it has not.
Like they normally like to play.
I agree. I haven't seen much of that.
I mean, there's still been plenty of hits. There's been some penalties, but it's been way more of a wide open type of game.
Yep. Come on, boys. Oh, I don't like that.
Not sure what happened there. I thought the clock was about to run out.
Mike Twitter said a penalty with 3 seconds left.
What?
How does that work?
I mean,
so they go to 4-on-3 for 3 seconds?
But once 3 seconds is up, it's a shootout no matter what. So really
Huh.
Gosh, Saros has gotten crashed into so many times tonight.
I've noticed that as well.
It's really making me nervous. Like, I don't like it. I don't like him getting crashed into like this.
So who did they call the I don't know. Nashville. Okay, I didn't see what it was.
Well, now they're discussing it. I'm sure they're trying to draw up something to figure out how they're gonna. I don't know. With 3 seconds left in hockey, I mean, you've got hardly any time to do anything.
No. How?
Because that puck has to cross that goal line before the clock hits 0. It's not like basketball where you just have to
release it.
It's completely different. Like, I mean, 3.3 seconds. I mean, you've got to win the faceoff and almost shoot immediately. I mean, it's almost impossible. Yeah. But don't ever call anything impossible when you have Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. But I'm just saying.
So it's 3 seconds of 4-on-3.
I mean, really, it's just about winning this face-off and getting a shot off. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Going to a shootout.
All right. We'll take it.
You can go ahead and thank UC Saros once again for getting the Predators at least a point.
Absolutely. Justin Gambino said massive face-off right here, but it's already happened.
Saros is up to 44 saves on the night.
Justin says he thinks Preds win a shootout.
I like it. Well, your prediction of Roman Josi scoring the game winner just nearly happened. Like, I mean, you were right there, dude.
Yep.
All right, so UC Saros's season high for saves is 48 saves.
Wow.
He's had 2 other games this season where he had 44 saves. So this is the third time this season he's had 44 saves.
Yep.
In a game.
All right, who's going first?
I don't think we've ever reacted live to a shootout, have we, Rich? Is this a first for Catfish on Ice?
Not that I can think of.
So it's episode 100, and how perfect is it? Episode 100, we get to watch a shootout live to close out episode 100.
It's crazy.
The listener appreciation episode, we've got a lot of listeners probably watching with us right now. Again, we love you. We appreciate you joining us tonight, watching this game with us. Let's watch the Preds win a shootout over the Oilers. Let's make it happen to close out episode 100. Let's make it happen.
I'm ready.
Although, Rich, can I go ahead and say something?
Sure.
I hate the shootout.
You know, I do too.
Why,
I'm glad you brought that up.
Why can't they play? Why can't they play 10 minutes of the same type of hockey they were just playing? 5 more minutes. Give me 5 more minutes of overtime.
I say you do, 3-on-3 for however long it takes.
I just think the shootout is gimmicky. I don't think it truly picks the better team.
It doesn't. Yeah, I agree 100%. I actually said that to somebody the other day. Mike Twitter says shootouts are fun when it's not your team. That's true. It is kind of fun to watch, but it's like I don't think
gimmicky. I'm telling you, the word I use is gimmicky. It's a gimmick. It feels like a gimmick, or it feels like an all-star game.
Leon Draisaitl's going first.
Ah.
Oh, I don't like that.
Forsberg tried to go backhand and gets stopped. So, Rich, unfortunately, I'm going to know who wins this before you do.
You are. Absolutely, you are.
Do you want me to hold in my reaction so I don't spoil it for you?
No, it's all right. It's all good.
All right. Connor McDavid is up for the Oilers.
Wow, I am really behind because Philip Forsberg is just now going.
Oh,
I don't like that. I guess he just.
That's why he's the best.
Yeah.
That was just not even fair. That was not even fair.
It's not fair that
you
one
wait and
person
see.
can have that much.
You wait and see, Rich. You wait and see what Connor McDavid just did. The move he just did.
It's coming up right now. Let's see. Takes it wide. Oh man. Yeah.
What do you do? What do you do about that, Rich? What do you do about that?
There's nothing you can do. He's got really fast stick handling capabilities. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. And unfortunately, that's something he could do against lots of goaltenders.
So for sure. Yeah. I mean, all right.
Oh.
I think you're watching the Matt Duchene.
I just did, yeah.
You're so far behind me. We're literally we're one round behind each other. Like I'm already watching the game right now.
That's crazy.
All right.
Oh man.
I don't want to spoil it for Rich, but this is the game right here. Roman Josi to try to keep this thing alive.
Okay. Never mind.
Maybe I'm joking, Rich. Maybe I'm acting right now. Maybe you don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm a really good actor, and maybe Roman Josi just scored. No,
I hope so.
No.
He did.
No, Preds losing the shootout.
Man, hey, you know what? It was a good game.
A lot of goalie love right now for the Oilers goaltender, whoever he is. What's his name? He's not very good, or he hasn't been very good this year for them.
Man.
Anyway, he had a good game against us tonight.
Yep. Well, here you go. Yeah. Oh well. You know what? It was a good game. They fought hard. They kept it close. You can't ask for anything better than that, except for a win. So, Koskinen.
That's why I hate that. That's why I hate the shootout, Rich.
Same. Me too. There's two sad Preds fans in Edmonton sitting in the stands. Oh well. It was a good game though. Got to admit that.
Yes, it was. It was a good game, and it was also an outstanding, fun episode with our listeners. This
Absolutely.
has been episode 100 of Catfish on Ice. We hope we're blessed enough and lucky enough to give you another 100 episodes.
Absolutely.
If we do it, it's going to be all because of the listeners. Again, we love y'all. Thank you so much. And we will see you next week for a brand new episode of Catfish on Ice. The Preds lose in the shootout to the Oilers 3-2. Connect with us on social media at Catfish Ice. Check out our YouTube channel as well. Check that out. We are presented by Draftkings. We are part of the Hockey Podcast Network. We will see you next week. Have a great weekend. This has been Catfish on Ice with Chad Mitten and Rich Howe. Take care, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.